Well, good evening or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome into the $50,000 Call of Duty Mobile Mythic Mayhem. I'm going to be your host and caster today. My name is Goj, and I'm really excited to see Battle Royale here with Call of Duty Mobile on the main stage for 50K. But I'm not going to be casting it all by myself. Bring me in. Bobby plays himself, Call of Duty Mobile aficionado, and my friend, it is Battle Royale time.
It is. It's good to be back. I have not casted COD Mobile Battle Royale in a hot minute, but there have been a lot of really cool changes to the game, especially the addition of buy stations has changed the way the game flows a lot. Really looking forward to these guys battling it out. They have been hooked up with all of the fanciest skins in Call of Duty Mobile, and hopefully they'll be feeling good to give it their best shot at their lion's share of $50,000.
Yeah, it's a really good shout. I'm really pumped about it. I want to break down the format and the scoring for everybody at home. If you haven't seen any info on this yet, I'm going to break it all down for you. All right, here we go. So first and foremost, 100 players in the lobby today, and we are playing quads. So there's going to be 25 teams of 4. The teams, however, are broken up a little bit different than more tournaments out there. We've got one content creator captain that is leading the charge with 3 qualified community players. Those community players, by the way, all made it here through a qualifier, actually a very rigorous qualifier to get here. So a total of 75 community players, and they're all being led by those captains. Now we are playing 5 total matches of Battle Royale, isolated first, then Blackout, and we go back and forth. So a total of 3 times on isolated, 2 times on Blackout. However, scoring may look a hair different than you're maybe used to. Yes, kills, eliminations, they're still worth 1 point, and we've got our placement points. So if you win a game, your team earns an extra 15 points. If you get 2nd through 5th, 10 points, and so on and so forth. If you get 16th or you go out first, you're not getting any extra points for that. However, those kills still very, very important. However, we also have challenges throughout the course of the day, 3 to be exact, in each map. And those challenges are worth 1 to 8 points depending on difficulty. So a ton of different ways to earn points. And depending on your playstyle, maybe you could be at the top of the leaderboard, even if you're not a aggressive slayer. But we are playing for $50,000. So Bobby, break it down. Who's making cash today?
Well, everybody inside the top 8, and a lot of people are coming in here with not a whole lot of experience when it comes to COD Mobile Battle Royale, but because we have that open qualifier format, we got opportunity for people to prove themselves. So obviously it's nice to get exposure. It's even nicer to make some money off of it. First place, that's going to be $16,000, breaking down to $4,000 per player. And obviously everything after that, not too shabby, all the way down to 8th place, $250 apiece. But that gap between 1st and 8th is massive. These guys are going to want to make the most of every opportunity, and especially with more ways to get points than just placement and kills, could provide some opportunity for some chaos in the later maps as well.
Yeah, it's a really good shout. I'm really pumped about this pricing, but there are rewards for you at home. There's 2 different rewards for you at home, so lock in. I'm going to explain how this works. First and foremost, you can open up Call of Duty Mobile right now and actually watch this live stream from the game itself. Open up the app and start watching. You can click that yellow icon you see on your screen, and if you do so, you're earning rewards every 15 minutes. If you watch for a total of 2 hours, then you collect all of the rewards available in game, which is 7 secret caches and 1,200 credits. However, there's another way to earn rewards. This one, all you have to do is click the link or scan this QR code. You can screenshot this graphic and click the QR code or scan it any which way you can. Once you scan it, it's going to go ahead and open up Call of Duty Mobile for you if you've already got it downloaded, or prompt you to download it. After you scan, you then have to complete 5 matches, and you earn 6 more secret caches, 3 epics, 2 legendaries, and 1 mythic. Hey, it is Mythic Mayhem after all. So make sure you scan this QR code and then play your 5 matches. You have to click the link or scan the QR code in order to earn your rewards, and you do have to play those games, all right? So there's the breakdown of the pricing for the players and the pricing for you at home. Let's talk about those players, though, because we have 25 teams to break down. And Bobby, I need you to give me a couple highlights. Who are you looking at? Who you have your eyes on?
I would say the fan favorite in the event has to be Parker the Slayer. Probably the OG COD Mobile Battle Royale player. He has been with it for probably 6 years at this point if you count all the betas and everything else. So obviously his teammates probably not going to be as recognizable. A lot of these players that we have that made it through the open qualifiers are not necessarily top tier pro players, but they've shown some gun skill in their own right. Obviously eyes on players like Noah Sunday as well. Seems like any type of content creator event that we have, he is always a threat.
Yeah, it's a really good shout. I've seen Noah play in just about every single one of these and always tries to at least make some cash. I expect him to be in the top 8 today. He's been doing a lot of practice. Park the Slayer, by the way, I watched a video that he put out 14 hours ago where he won a game only using C4.
I watched that video earlier today.
Crazy. Absolutely wild. All amazing content creators, though. I want to turn my eyes to some of the PC creators. Iceman Isaac, not only a good friend of mine, but also a Battle Royale aficionado. This dude has played every single Battle Royale under the sun, and he is top tier. One of the other things about this guy is that he has played in a COD mobile tournament very recently, and I'm pretty sure he won or at the very least made some cash. So I'm expecting him to be in the money today, a top 8 team for sure, especially from the PC side. And I also got to shout out my man Repulse. Hector is the GOAT. He's watched just about more Battle Royale content than anyone on earth. This dude watch parties every single competitive Battle Royale event on the PC side, and so I know he knows how Battle Royale works. I expect him to IGL some alongside some of these community players who all qualified to be here. I really expect this team to do well as well, and it'll be fun to see him get competitive rather than just watch competitive. Stone Mountain 64 could say the same. This dude is just about in every event I've ever seen. He's always making cash. We've got a ton of great content creators, and he is certainly one of them. Albeit he may not IGL in game, he's still going to be leading them probably with his illustrious voice and all the amazing content he creates. We could talk about every single one of these teams. Winsanity in just about every single mobile event I've ever seen. He's trying to make some cash today. Shifun, Cisco, Slayer. I mean, they're all amazing, and I'm sure the cream of the crop will rise to the top as we get deeper into this tournament. We'll have a chance to talk about all of these teams. But a very, very fun, wide array of content creators, Bobby, all with different skill sets and all with different experience here in COD Mobile BR. But I do know all of our creators have been practicing, and so I'm really excited to see what they're able to do on this map. And we are starting with Isolated as well, which is a tried and true OG classic. But Bobby, yeah, what do you think about those teams? Any other notes on maybe what you're expecting in our first map?
I think one of the teams that you have to look at as far as professional favorites has got to be Slayer and his squad. That's one. I know Lotex is not playing in the event, but a couple of players asked him who he felt like was going to come out on top. He said Slayer squad, and then Raging Cactus actually has another pro player on his team as well. So those are two to keep your eyes on, especially as far as competitive level of competition, just because obviously being a content creator is one thing, playing the game professionally completely another, and these are top tier players that we've seen compete across the board, not only in content creator tournaments, but in actual professional tournaments as well.
Yeah, it's a really cool shot. The qualified players, they had a very rigorous qualifying process, and there were some restrictions on you can't be an active pro player. You could have played in a very recent tournament. I don't remember all the rules for it. It was very extensive, but all these players made the cut and got here, and I'm sure they're here to prove themselves, so it'll be very fun to watch what they're able to do as well as our content creators going forward. Now, there's a ton of different ways to earn points today. We talked about that, Bobby. I want to briefly talk about placement points and how this works. I think folks that are familiar with Battle Royales know that this is kind of a tried and true format for the most part. So if you get first place, your team is getting 15 points. Now, one of the fun things about Battle Royale is just because you win the map and you get your extra 15 points doesn't mean you're going to be at the top of the leaderboard. And that's where we go into kills and how many kills your team's able to get. So Bobby, I think the question for you real quick is just, do you think it's a good strategy to play highly aggressive, or are you playing for placement points every day of the week?
I think in game number one especially, we'll see teams sit back and play a little bit more passive. I don't think you want to full send and put yourself at a massive disadvantage early on, especially with how much you're able to get out of those placement points, and then also the challenge.
Yeah, I totally agree, Bobby. I think we lost him for a moment, but I think I agree. I don't think highly aggressive play immediately is the right way to go. You kind of got to get a little bit of a litmus test out of the way first. You got to make sure that you know how the lobby is going to be played. and how aggressive it'll be. Well, there's one more way to earn points, by the way. Challenges. I want to talk about these and exactly how they work. So let's break down how these challenges work. You're going to see these on all of the creators' overlays. I want to give you an example so you know exactly what's going on. So first and foremost, we've got our challenges, right? Every single challenge is worth a different amount of points. It'll be dictated by this little overlay. You can see the example in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. 3 points, 5 points, 8 points, it doesn't matter. The big thing you've got to pay attention to is the quantity. You see that 25 there? That means all 25 teams have an opportunity to earn these points. Now, you got to do it within a certain amount of time. You can see the time limit, 5 minutes on our example here. If you take longer than 5 minutes, you're not earning any points. And if you do, able to complete it within the 5 minutes, great, you're earning points. Now, the other thing, though, is if that quantity is not 25, let's say it's 10 or 5 or 15, then it's the first 5, 10, or 15 teams to complete the challenge that earn it. So there is a little bit of risk reward, by the way, on how you earn these points and when you earn these points. If you let all the other teams do it before you and you're still spending time on it, you may not do that in time and therefore not get your points. If it doesn't make sense, you can absolutely ask. Trust me, I think you're going to get a hang of it very quickly. So let's take a look at the map 1 challenges first. Only 3 of them. There are 3 every single map, and you don't have to complete these. And I think that's the super interesting part about this tournament is these teams get to choose how they want to play. These are the first 3 challenges. So you've got Cha-Ching, Hot Drop, and SMG Knock. Obviously, the first 2, 25 quantity, everybody can earn these. Every single team can redeem 3 and 8 points if they do these things. But Hot Drop is a little high risk. You've got to drop, all of your team members have to drop on launch base from the opening plane. So this is where things get a little interesting. If you choose to go for this, you automatically get 8 points. A huge boon. The problem is if you go for this and get your 8 points and you die immediately and your full team is wiped, you're done for the map. So I think some of these teams may say, hey, I think we can get more points because I think we're going to stay alive till the end, get our placement points, be a top 5 team, and get those 10 points. I'm not too worried about it. Whereas other teams say, hey, if we can be the team that wins Hot Drop, shoot, we get our 8 points, we get a bunch of kills as well, we could be the top of the leaderboard. The other 2, a little bit easier to earn, just kind of normal gameplay loop float. You should be able to complete those, especially if you tend to play with an SMG. So that's how it's all going to work. Feel free to keep asking questions. I think it's quite self-explanatory for the most part. But I am happy to pay attention to all of our streams all over the place and answer your questions. So challenges out of the way, Bobby back. Bobby, it's time to talk about maps, and I want you to give me your thoughts around Isolated and Blackout, the 2 maps we're playing today, and maybe a key delineator between those 2, as we are starting with Isolated, but we'll be seeing Blackout here in map number 2.
Yeah, obviously Isolated's kind of a fan favorite whenever it comes to COD Mobile Battle Royale. It's been there since the beginning of the game. I personally actually like Blackout better, and I think especially with the fact that we don't have any restrictions on vehicles or classes, this is one that I think is going to be a lot more entertaining. It's one that we don't get to see nearly as much, especially in the rotation for competitive COD Mobile events, but that's one I'm definitely looking for, and one that I think the current rule set could be very, very interesting for, especially with the addition of buy stations.
Yeah, it's a really good shout. Buy station's definitely going to change the way the game's played. We'll talk about that as we get into it. But we are starting with Isolated. This is an OG, the classic. Everybody loves it. Everybody plays it. And I'm really excited to get into our very first map of the day. I think we are just about there. And now, Bobby, since I've got you back, we talked a little bit about those challenges. And one of our first map challenges is that hot drop on launch base, and I want to get your take as a professional here in the booth about this hot drop. What do you think about it? If you were playing, would you go for it? I mean, 8 points is a kind of a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. I personally don't feel like I'm good enough to go for something like that. I think the people that are going to go for a risky player are the ones that feel like they can ultimately win the hot drop, because it's not just dropping one player into that launch base area. It's dropping all of them, which puts a lot of risk of getting completely wiped off the start. And like we talked about earlier, removing any potential for you to get any of those additional points. So I don't think, especially map 1, that we're going to see a ton of people go for it. If we have it in the later maps, there's a possibility we start to see people get a little more aggressive, especially as they start to get more desperate.
Yeah, I think I agree with your breakdown there. I think if I was playing, I don't think I would, because I think I could maybe just survive better than take a gunfight with everybody in the lobby. We'll see. I think Parker the Slayer may go there and try to wipe the lobby with his community players. I got a little inkling from behind the scenes. You know, there's a boon being in the Discord when all the players are talking, figuring out their strategies. One of the things that we're talking about is vehicles, like you had mentioned, probably being a pretty big boon for a lot of these teams and a lot of these players. But it sounded like a lot of our teammates, a lot of the teammates of the captains, were going to be running the FHJ-18 to make sure these vehicles weren't too valuable. I mean, obviously tanks pretty strong, but if you're able to take them out quickly, I think all of these teams are trying to plan for worst case scenario. There's tanks everywhere. We're blowing them all up as fast as humanly possible. Bobby, one of the other things they said, though, is that I think they were trying to hide away some of their captains, and some of the qualified players were trying to get to that buy station as fast as possible to get the revival coins so they'd auto deploy if they die and sprint around the map just trying to farm kills. I mean, I like the strategy. We'll see if it pays off for them. But our captains, I guess they're just going to be on like power looting duty.
Yeah, I think some of the open qualifier players might be underestimating the level of skill in these lobbies as well. They might be assuming that it's going to be comparable to what they had in those qualifiers, whereas these are all the players that are at the top of each of their qualifiers. So it'll be interesting to see if that's something that actually pans out. A lot of times whenever somebody's maybe a tier 2 pro regularly going against tier 2 pros, it seems like a more feasible idea than when you actually get into the competition and you got $50,000 on the line.
Yeah, that's right. I think everybody's been practicing, sweating, and getting really excited about this. I believe our game's about to get started, and I'm really excited to jump into Isolated. Been watching a lot of content around this map, and all the players know and love it, so they're going to be very familiar on it as we jump in. One of the things I want to remind everybody at home about is, yes, Isolated, then Blackout, and we're going to rotate through all 5 of them, but every single map counts. So if you have one bad map, you're going to have to make up for it in some of these other maps. This is classic Battle Royale. I used this term before, and I use it in every single Battle Royale broadcast I do. This very first map is the litmus test. This is going to decide, are our teams going to play slow? Are they going to play highly aggressive? What's it going to look like in our very first map? Because we've got a full lobby of 100 players on this map. I think grabbing those tags is going to be pretty difficult. I think some of these teams are going to play aggressive, some a lot more patient, and so our rotations are going to be really fun to take a look at on our map as we get into the game. All right, Bobby, words of wisdom, final thoughts before we hop into the game. Anything you want to tell these players? Maybe Noah, if you've got Noah right in front of you right now, what are your words to him as we're going into the game?
I don't think I have to give a whole lot of advice to Noah because he's more comfortable than just about anybody else. But I think whenever you're a newer player and you have a bad game, a bad map, or even a bad start for a couple maps, you can get into your head and it feels like the end of the world. But anything's possible with the way that this is set up. And even if you find yourself in a big deficit, really any type of comeback is possible. It's really about the team chemistry, and if you start to get angry at your teammates, then you're just going to make things that much worse. So learn how to mental reset after every map, put the mistakes behind you, and see if you can learn from it, and hopefully we can get some new faces as a champion right here, and some people that maybe you weren't expecting.
Yeah, totally agree. This is a big opportunity for some of these teams to prove themselves and show us who they are and what they're capable of. Folks, we are headed into our very first game of the day, so I want to remind you that you can scan and play Call of Duty Mobile right now so you can start earning in-game rewards. This QR code is going to open up COD Mobile on your device. Once you open it up, you've got to play 5 games, but you have to scan the QR code, play those 5 games, and then you get your rewards, including, by the way, Mythic of that secret cache. So really big rewards here for you. Make sure you scan this QR code, get in the game right now, and start playing. It's a total of 5 games, though. You got to play all 5. It can be multiplayer or, of course, Battle Royale. But, Bobby, it's time for our very first game of the day. Only 5 of these. The litmus test is here, and it looks like we're starting out with Thesaurus PG, my GOAT, on screen right now. Here's a quick look at the map, and, oh, a nice plane line bisecting the map pretty much in half. We'll see where most of our teams decide to drop.
Yeah, definitely all eyes on launch base, as that is our hot drop for this one. It looks like a lot of players hopping down simultaneously and a massive group heading all in the same direction. It could be pure chaos on the inside of launch base. I did not expect this many players, and I've got a feeling not a lot of teams making it out alive.
This is about to be utter chaos. And as much as I love this map view, because it does show us a couple teams said not worth, everybody else said, give me my 8 points. Everybody marking that challenge completed, and already the bloodshed is starting. Quick look at maybe trying to find some loot before we get into the mix. The right play here from Stone Mountain. So far, not much that he can find.
I saw Lucky Shamu taken out early when Sanity's dropping as well. It is as expected. Pure chaos. They're picking up cash. You're not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage with that. Guns needed ASAP. And once again, players dropping like flies in the feed. Little B, no surprise. He's going to fall early on. Repulse. Oh my gosh, it's pure chaos. 5 players already dead. But more than likely, that means probably no team wipes, especially given how many knocks we've seen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It looks like Slayer's already hunting some opponents, and squad eliminated. We've at least wiped out 1. You can take a look at the top left-hand corner of your screen. It looks like Slayer's already got 2 kills on the board, 10 players fully eliminated, and likely that squad being 4 of them. Everybody marking these challenges super quickly. And again, they have limited amount of time, so you can see the only challenge that Slayer has not completed is the Cha-Ching challenge. It's going to be going to the buy station.
Why is this guy coming first?
Yeah, should be an opportunity for that, although it looks like they're trying to either stay alive or rat out a couple of extra kills. I think they may actually opt to rat back for the tags, but we still have quite a few teams here in launch base. Everybody trying to exit as quickly as possible, and actually it's not that many teams. It's mainly a bunch of dog tags lying around. It seems like most teams have at least gotten away with 1 player. We still got chaos on the mountains outside of launch base as well. It seems like Slayer doing his best to avoid all these footsteps. He's going to fly away, have to go for the tags right here, and it looks like he may have been successful. That misdirection working wonders to keep him alive, and it looks like he's going to be able to get the scan, although bullets coming in.
Yeah, nice scan. Teammate's going to be coming back in. It looks like, albeit Slayer did pick up a couple kills, they lost a couple in the process as well.
I have no ammo, bro.
And I was gonna say, I mean, hot dropping launch base is great for your points. The one problem we didn't really talk about is resources, man. There's only so much loot to go around, and when you have a ton of people landing there, it sounded like Slayer was out of ammo. But we swing over to a couple different players, a couple different teams, see where they're at and what they're doing. Stone Mountain's team also looking pretty favorable here. Top of launch base. It doesn't seem like anybody's contested them.
Yeah, he's got that Mythic Krig. Obviously, every one of these players hooked up with all the finest Mythics in the game. Looks like they're sitting pretty. Couple players down below. I don't know if they're retrieving tags or looking to push this. Not really an optimal angle, but Stone Mountain Squad actually going to hop on down. They pick up 1. We see Bella Fox Gaming getting knocked in the feed as well. It's getting spicy down below. Players knocked left and right. He's going to be able to pick up the tags, but 2 players on the inside right there. Risky play. Will be able to stay alive for the time being.
Did you guys use SMG? Use SMG. Use SMG.
No.
There's people over
Here's
there.
Shifan talking about challenges they need to complete, one of which was getting kills with an SMG. He's trying to pick that up before the challenges are all gone, and it looks like Parker, the Slayer's team, they may have completed all the challenges. Looking good already, pushing the equation here. Qualified player, Ducky on, I assume that's TikTok. TT.
I believe so. I tried to look him up because I noticed that username, but I couldn't find him. So I don't know if he's got a different name on TikTok, but
no, I
seems like a solid pickup for Parker's team so far.
I say we try to. Oh, is it? Yeah.
That way, that way. We're good.
On my mark.
Yep.
Also love the username.
Do we want to? He's going by vehicle. He's going by the vehicle at 60.
I love that. Hey, you gotta represent, man. This is a big deal. I mean, these players have an opportunity to earn a ton of money, right? $16,000 if they're able to win it all. And you get paired up with arguably one of the best captains, at least with the most experience. Like, it's a big deal.
I saw a lot of people in the comments saying they didn't feel like Parker was going to perform well. Last event that we had was the Cry event, which is obviously more of a Rebirth style map, but he certainly performed really well there. We see Team Littleby actually very high on the scoreboard, and likely a lot of that due to the hot drop there into launch base. I would presume everybody that has 8 points and above did that, and it looks like, what, 12 different teams with 8 points and above early on? That's a crazy number.
Yeah, and likely a couple of those full wiped. I mean, we're missing 15 players in this lobby, it looks like. So, interesting stat. But at the top, only Team Slayer did all of the challenges. If you do the math on all the challenges together, it is 14 points. Only team to do so, and likely probably was the first team to be able to get to a buy station before that challenge closed that did also drop on launch base. So,
auto-equip scope.
A nice win for them.
Yeah.
Dad plays.
I think it's in basic.
Team captain right here played. He's got experience on pretty much every mobile battle royale that has ever been created. So I know he dabbles in COD Mobile BR here and there. I think his overall battle royale experience is what's going to shine. Same for Bella Fox. Just lots of mobile experience across the board. And I think overall, having mobile experience is going to pay off more than just pure battle royale experience. Simply because the difference between the controls on mobile and those on console and PC are so different. So even though a lot of these players might not be the most familiar with COD Mobile, whether it's multiplayer or battle royale, having those mobile mechanics down just makes such a huge difference.
Yeah, totally agree. It's looking like Bella's team's rotating with vehicles as expected.
Can I pick you up or no?
Map. Looks like one of our qualified players said, how about a rocket to the face, Bella Fox? Too bad. See you later.
That was an insta-thirst as well. They wasted no time making sure she was not going to get res right there. So waiting for COD Ninja, who I think has played in a number of our creator tournaments as well. I did not see him on the list of players, but if that is who I think it is, that could be a team to keep an eye out for. Back on the Saurus PG right here is... They've got their position set up. I'm assuming there's a team looking to hold them from the high ground right here, because sitting out in zone is obviously less than ideal, but looks like they should be able to rotate right here and take the long route getting into zone. Current zone not going to do any type of significant damage to where they should be hurried, especially with him having the medic class.
Yeah, you know, it's a good shout while we have a moment watching some of these teams now that the crazy start in the action has lessened a little bit and everybody's looting up and preparing for their rotations. Well, it sounds like, wait a minute, right as I say that, we've got a fight. Somebody's coming from the west side, says Papa PG.
Yeah.
I think medic, one of the better classes, one of the classes that most of these teams will have at least one of. I'm going to ask you about your favorite classes. Hold on to that, though, because we've got a team pushing Papa PG, looking for a vehicle, potentially.
I'm going to pretend I didn't see that spray.
Getting warmed up. Getting warmed up.
There we go. This is just it's a high-stakes training range, you know?
That's right. There's only $50,000 on the line.
Yeah, let's just get in the same zone. I don't have.
It's like Stone Mountain and his squad able to get out of launch base safely. Doesn't look like anybody contesting on the mountaintops, and they should be able to wrap on into zone.
Yeah.
Do have to keep an eye on the money count for each of these teams as well, as more than likely some of those challenges that we have later on factoring in there, and also the ability to buy a personal loadout can be a big difference maker, especially in in-game when time to kill becomes everything. So they don't have a ton of money to work with right now. They're likely going to look to find an opportunity to loot up, and once again, one of the downsides of going to those hot drops, like you said, resources going to be scarce with how spread out they are early.
Yeah, and a great look at our map view. I want to draw our attention to the team all the way up in heat, the farthest rotation, but they do have a helicopter in theory to be able to fly to new. And like you said, safe zone, important to get to. The first zone doesn't do all that much damage, so a lot of rotating to be done, and vehicles going to be absolutely necessary to do so. It looks like Rolex's team still alive. Rolex himself not. Maybe got into an encounter while we're taking a look at the map. He's picking up all the dog tags, should be able to scan these in, playing around Circus, which was one of the most hotly contested areas after launch base. When we took a look at the map, there's a lot of folks down here and up at Pipeline to the north side of them.
See Winsanity getting taken down in the feed again. He did get finished, so that means that he at the bare minimum has some teammates alive.
Chat,
Right
this
now,
is crazy,
looks like
bro.
Ice just trying to find an
Got body.
opportunity to get the scan
How
back.
does he call us?
Should be able to do it right here. Oh, he's got the movement. All right. I can tell his teammates cracked out just by the way he's moving right here. Obviously, it's not really doing anything because nobody's looking at him, but just the mechanics alone, you can tell this guy has many hours thrown into COD Mobile BR.
Yeah, and another medic class. I'll bring back that question I was talking about a moment ago. Quick hits on some of the probably top classes we'll see today, Bobby. Medic, probably 1 per team at the least. Talk to me about a couple other classes you expect to see.
Medic's obviously going to be one of them, especially when it comes to endgame, being able to play zone. So crucial in making those endgame plays. Another one going to be misdirection. Not only the fact that you get that extra mobility, but also an opportunity to kind of throw off the comms for the opposing team. I know Quick Strike is a favorite for a lot of the mobility players, so it'll be interesting to see how much that comes into play. And then Igniter, I know, especially for aggressive players and solo squatters, tends to be popular, but as far as the competitive setting, maybe not quite as necessary. Smoke Bomber that we see Jacob gaming on, definitely another really strong one as well.
We'll see what Jacob's able to do. They call his community the Boat Gang, and unfortunately, not in a boat right now. You are dead in the center of land and getting crushed, but teammates there able to potentially play their trades. Let's see how they take this fight. Gonna surround the building. Picking up the dog tags. So far, so good. Looks like they were able to at least clear out the building and hold it for anybody else that decides to push, but...
Yeah, because there's a lot of people. And
We do still have 72 people alive, so... Despite the chaos that we had off that initial launch base drop,
is it difficult
not
to push
a
people?
whole lot
Like,
lost
they
for the
holding us?
majority of players. I have a feeling Little B's squad has been taken out of the equation because
no.
I
Do you have
believe
it? Let me
they
have
were
that.
one of those high point teams, but I don't think we've seen them in the feed since the beginning of the game. Hopefully we can get a track on which teams remain here as we do start to see players drop off with that zone getting closer and closer. Especially once we get toward endgame, they will be dropping like flies.
That's good that there's an
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It'll probably force people to go towards it. So, it's a
I like
custom
that
loadout, too.
it sounds like most of our qualified players are able to talk through
Okay,
in-game
don't go towards
comms
the
to our
people, like,
creators.
that's pretty...
Yeah, people on the
I'm
right
assuming
side.
there's at least 2 teams. Yeah.
You can see that purple icon is the new buy station, and there is a ton in there. We'll get a chance to see it. There's also fire sales that will reduce the price of anything that you need in there by 30%.
They keep getting revived.
Self-revives would be nice. Revival coins nice, but just about everybody's going to want to pick up a class driver to upgrade their class abilities.
And Jacob's squad has a lot of money stacked up right now. One of their players has 40k, which is enough for a loadout drop, and they can buy a lot of other things like you were talking about. You got self-revives, you got those revived coins. A lot of utility to be found, although not a lot of buy stations left. I feel like you don't want to be flying around for too much longer, because as we see right there, you get taken down quickly, and Jacob not quite quick enough on the response to get out of the helicopter in time. He is going to get finished right there, but teammates right there to instantly scan the tags.
Yeah, they are held in a pretty bad spot right now, though. They're going to have to rotate up the hill. High ground, nice, but not a lot of cover on the way up there. We'll see if they're able to make it there for free as we swing over to Dab Plays. Got a decent position on edge of zone, but they're being held by a team in zone who's actually looking potentially at a different squad as well. And this is where things are going to get crazy. You said it. 73 is now 56, and that number is going to be dwindling dramatically over the next minute or two. Team's going to be rotating in and everybody being held. Not sure how Dab's team's going to approach this fight. Luckily, the other team is a bit preoccupied, so they're going to be looking for an opening.
People to our
be able to try to make a play.
On the hill. Watch out over here.
Dab actually playing the scout class, so that's going to allow you to scan the surrounding area, get an eye on where the opposition is. They're going to be able to rotate out right here, but super exposed, struggling to jump out the window. And a risky play right here, but the team up on top of the mountain doesn't really seem to have an idea. Looks like it's going to be a free rotation for them, and with all 4 players alive, only 1 needs to play up. They could potentially push this. If they can take top mountain control right here, that would put them in prime position heading into the end of the game.
Cúrame. Necesito lootear.
Down here?
Bro,
Mano, aquí abajo pueden ir.
All right, Win, I see you. Like I said, Winsanity tends to find himself in these in-games.
Aquí, mano,
He's got a pretty good position as well on edge of zone. The problem with this, there's positives and negatives to hunting to edge of the zone. You're usually fighting kills. You're hunting edge, people moving in from outside the safe zone, getting damaged, they can't back up. Free kills. The problem is you're usually going to get held as well. So pay attention to when they rotate in, who's there and how they get held. You can see Zeke down there, one of our other teams,
Okay. I'm
still alive. He and his team doing a full rotation here.
Mountain. Right side.
When it showed that counter a second ago, 18 people still alive right now. So that's or not 18 people, 18 teams still alive.
Yeah, that's
is a
wild.
lot for how many or for how small the zone is right now. We're constantly seeing those knocks, those kills, but I believe the scan's still in play. So most of the time, those players that are getting taken down still able to get back into action, which is why it's that much more important to not get taken down early on in the game. Not only do you have the opportunity to take down 100 players, but with the amount of times that you can get scanned back, it's just such a big missed opportunity to get taken down off that initial drop. And a couple of those teams more than likely regretting that one. I'm interested to see what that kill count is going to be once we get toward the end of the game. When Sanity and his squad, 4 players still alive for them as they look to hold the team outside zone.
Looks like buy stations are closing here in the next 5 seconds or so. Doesn't look like Win's got a kill yet, but his teammates potentially do. They're playing well together as a unit. Play trades here, kind of skating edge of zone. There is a team already inside of zone, up on top of the hill. This is going to be a tough hill to breach. The hope here is there's so many people alive, they're going to get distracted. And it's actually nice. I was going to say, probably a layer cake. A couple teams at the top, Winsanity's team at the bottom. It's going to be utter chaos. It's not worth pushing this too early. Let the other teams fight.
There might be a team coming above us.
100%. You don't want to force anything until you absolutely have to. So they've got this high ground position. They've got defender shields as well, so that's additional cover. They have that ultimate high ground where you can watch everything down below, and maybe that one other team up top looking to contest, but you got so much cover from the rocks that you can really dictate the pace of the gunfights and when this is going to happen. So they can play these headies. We'll sit back right here, eyes on the one defender up top, and only COD Ninja alive right now for Bella Fox's team. He's likely just going to go for placement in this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're barely into placement. You can see 11 teams still remaining, so we're into some placement points, but only 3 right now. And you need to make it to top 10 to get to up to 6 points, and then it's top 5 for the next metric up. So all these players are going to be playing slow. You can see where the zone is pulling to as well is actually off the hill. It's down at the bottom of this hill in the wide open spaces. So, yeah, we went from 53. Now there are only 25 players remaining. The problem is, once this zone closes, it's going to be utter chaos. And you can already see some of that fighting beginning to start as people begin to move from their ultimate high ground.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing the players drop a lot faster now. It was, what, 60 just a second ago, all the way down to 25. Players knocked left and right. Raging Cactus taken out, but once again, one of his teammates, one of the players to watch, I believe Bardax was the one that Lotec said was going to be a real threat in this competition. So we'll see if he can clutch up right here. It looks like he's able to get a knock, dropping like flies. COD Ninja continues to farm, and he was the solo that we watched.
Yeah.
He's just in the smoke, going to work. It is cash, mythics, and legendaries for days all around him. It looks like he wiped the whole squad, and he keeps on going.
The only piece of cover in zone right now that's like a true cover is this shack, and it's his. This is COD Ninja's shack. He's running the lobby right now by himself. He's got one of the best positions on the map. Slayer's team is a full team of 4. He has to solo quad in a $50,000 tournament. This is unbelievable, but he's doing it. He's got everything that his heart desires in this shack. We've got to rename this POI on the map. My goodness. He's ready for whatever's coming at him. It's going to be a full team of 4, most likely on the other side. 1 versus 4. There's only 5 people left in the lobby total. COD Ninja's got 6 kills here, Bobby.
and I think he can actually steal these kills. That nade goes over top right there, forced to rotate out. Bardak's still alive. He's one of the players to watch. FHJ and making the SMRS right there. Not going to connect, but he slides on through, and the shots connect through the smoke. He goes crazy off the finish. That is exactly why Lotec said to keep an eye out for him. Team Raging Cactus takes those 50 points to close out map 1.
A huge win for Raging Cactus, but of course I've got to tip my hat to COD Ninja. My goodness, was able to make it into the top 3. So all of those 3 teams you just saw, all going to be walking away with some nice placement points. And of course, however many points they got for the kills that they got. COD Ninja, of course, I think raking in 6 kills is what we saw before we cut away. But it's Raging Cactus, the only team that will earn 15 points for their placements. Wow, what a first map. Isolated, it definitely lived up to the hype. I think the big thing for me was how fast this game moved. I thought it was going to be a lot slower, but I think the hot drop kind of started things out really fast. And then the teams that made it out of the hot drop said, well, we're already fighting a lot. We're feeling pretty good. We got decent resources. Let's keep pushing the equation. Let's keep fighting. And then, of course, the final circle was absolute chaos. Very fun map. What'd you think, Bobby?
Yeah, it was definitely it start to finish really good. I feel like there was only maybe a minute or 2 of a lull, kind of like you talked about after that initial hot drop. But I think especially probably some teams learning their lesson off of that hot drop, and we will likely not see quite as many go for it the second time around. I could be completely wrong, and we could see the entire lobby sended that way. But I think with the amount of kills that we saw teams farming toward the end of that one, I think with the way that scales up on the leaderboard, more than likely we are going to see a lot more people play it passive while still having some people that are feeling desperate going for the hot drops.
Yeah, I think that'll be super interesting. Obviously, our challenges will change each map, so we might see some more hot drops. We might see some other challenges, but let's take a quick look back at that map and some of my favorite parts, because, of course, I put this together. Slayer, obviously dominating the early game, the only team to get all of the challenges completed, which is a total of 14 points. You can expect to see Slayer near the top of the leaderboard with those extra 14 points and the amount of kills they were able to pick up. Parker the Slayer, some good moments. Aerith here on main stage, picking up a nice kill inside of one of these buildings, playing great trades. Good grief. Unfortunately gets traded out as well. And then Winsanity's team did great as well. I think they're going to earn some placement points, but it was all about Raging Cactus at the end. It was COD Ninja as an individual, Raging Cactus's team that is able to come out on top. You can see Raging Cactus actually falls a little early, but his teammates were crushing it into the final circle. And here's COD Ninja going absolutely berserk, and the only piece of cover left in the final circle here, Bobby, able to play the shack perfectly, pick up 6 some odd kills and make it into the top 3 for the placement points. But Raging Cactus's team does it in the end and wins, and that's the power of player advantage, my man. When you've got extra teammates, you've got more players on your team than the other, you got more bullets throwing down range, you're probably gonna win.
Yeah, and you can see it on Raging Cactus's face right there. He wasn't expecting probably a crazy result, let alone a win, but Bardax goes big for his squad right there. I think a lot of this is going to come down to who's got the better community members out of those qualifiers, and definitely some surprises for COD Ninja being able to make it through. Definitely a huge addition for, I believe that was Bella Fox and her team. And then even though Raging Cactus doesn't have a ton of COD Mobile BR experience, a solid IGL can work wonders for you, especially when it comes to managing those late game situations.
Yeah, no, it was really fun to watch. I think overall, yeah, I think Raging Cactus will probably be near the top of the leaderboard. Bella Fox will be near the top of the leaderboard. You got to remember, placement points are huge, right? 10 points overall if you get into the top 5, 6 points overall if you get into the top 10. So there's quite a bit of points to go around for everybody if you were able to make it. The crazy part about that map, though, was that when we looked at the top of that giant mountain before the zone forced everybody off, we still had 16 teams on the map moving into that circle. I think it was like third to last circle. Our placement points, they start at 15th place. So there was a lot of folks that were like, wow, we did great. We made it till near the end of the game. And they're going to look at the leaderboard and go, oh, wait, we died in 16th. We get nothing for that. Maybe we do need a hot drop and get extra challenge points. It'll be fun to see. Again, it was Slayer's team that completed all the challenges, so they're going to have 14 points overall just from the challenges, let alone what they were able to do on the map, which is pretty significant. So yeah, Bobby, I think you called it out perfectly. I think it's Bella Fox. I think it's Slayer. And then, of course, Raging Cactus winning the map probably going to be 3 of our top 5 or so teams. But who knows? Maybe there's a surprise out there. Somebody was slaying out the lobby that we missed off screen. So we'll take a look at that here in a little bit. Our score is being calculated. I want to remind everybody at home that you should be earning rewards right now, folks. There's a couple different ways to earn rewards, and I want to remind you of how to do this because we're just getting started today. 4 more maps to go. First and foremost, go watch this broadcast in-app. Really cool. We've got this broadcast in Call of Duty Mobile right now. Click that yellow icon to start earning rewards right now. You earn rewards every 15 minutes where you get your credits and your secret caches. And of course, if you watch it for 2 full hours, boom, you get all maximum rewards, 1,200 credits, 7 secret caches, and those are epic. And then the other way to earn rewards, this one is super unique. Scan this QR code or click the link. It's down in the description below, I believe. Moderators can help you out if you don't know how to scan a QR code, but you can just screenshot this, click the QR code on whatever device you're watching on, and that should work as well. Once you scan it, it's going to open up your COD Mobile. Once it opens up, you need to play 5 matches. It can be BR, it can be multiplayer, it can be whatever you want. Once you complete 5 matches, if you're able to do that before July 2nd at around midnight PT, you will earn 6 secret caches, 3 of those being epic, 2 legendary, and 1 of those is mythic. So really exciting rewards. There's a ton across the board. You can get like 13 secret caches throughout all of our reward systems. If you have questions on that, our moderators can help you out. But a ton of ways to earn rewards, so go get involved right now. And of course, if you don't have COD Mobile downloaded, that QR code, it'll also open up the App Store or whatever device you're on to go download COD Mobile. So fun stuff, lots of rewards. And Bobby, I was watching you play a little earlier with Noah Sunday, and you were talking about some of your mythics that you were equipping or maybe forgot to equip in game, and then you were able to get those equipped after. Of course, some really, really cool stuff in COD Mobile right now.
Yeah, no question about it. Just a pro tip, because I have done this many, many times whenever it comes to grinding out the mythics. You only have to play 1 individual game to unlock a lot of those. So when you got to play like the 5 games, all you got to do is hop into a shipment free-for-all. It only takes 2 minutes. Knock out 5 games in 10 minutes. Boom. Instant 6 catches. 1 of those mythic, 2 of those legendary. Go unlock it as quickly as possible. Once again, with the link in the description. But yeah, there's so much that you can grind out in COD Mobile right now. You've got, what, 3 free legendaries that you can unlock via the secret caches. You got 1 free mythic. There's tons of new content coming up in the upcoming seasons as well. So the last 6 months of COD Mobile, we've seen more free grindable skins and the first ever free grindable mythic. So they've certainly come at us with some crazy opportunities, and it's definitely made it a lot more fun for me to just kind of hop into pubs and play shipment free-for-all, which is not something that I used to do that much in the past.
Hey, I told you, Bobby, he's a pro, man. He's got all the pro tips. Let's take a look at our match scores. These are going to be in order of placement. So you're going to see Raging Cactus at the top. But the question is, did he have the most points? And the answer, whew, it looks like a resounding yes. Take a look at this. Again, this is the order at which the teams placed in that map. So COD Ninja actually did end up getting second. So you can see those 10 ranked points there for getting second in the map. And it looks like of the 7 total kills from that team, I think COD Ninja had 6 of them, so 25 points in total for Bella Fox. But as we talked a little bit about Little B, he had earned quite a bit of those challenge points. 11 challenge points helped him out. 32 total points. Little B, I think, is going to be in second place on our overall, even though they ended up getting 5th here, Bobby.
I have to know who is on his team that was getting those points, because I literally did not see his name in the kill feed a single time after that initial hot drop. I'm going to have to keep an eye out more for his teammates and who we're looking at there, because that's certainly not what I was expecting. As you guys can see, who else but Winsanity on that second column, leading the way with 27 points. Definitely a big performance, and 18 of those coming off of elims, not just off of challenge points, off of finish points, but to get 18 elims game 1, it seems like the team chemistry played a big role in what they were able to do there.
Yeah, and I think we're starting to get into some of those teams that maybe hot dropped. Team Noah Sunday. Hey, congrats on your 8 points. Unfortunately, I think they got wiped off rip, and that is the nature of the game. When you go for the hot drop, unfortunately, if you don't stay alive, you only get those 8 points. So that's where Noah Sunday's at in that match. But here's our overall, and as expected, Team Raging Cactus at the top by 6 over Team Little B at 32. Team Slayer, again, as expected, inside of top 5 here in 3rd place overall at 28. But Winsanity is probably the biggest surprise for me. 18 eliminations between his entire team in that map. Yeah, he lasted a decent amount, but only got 6 rank points. Wasn't a top 5 team in that map, Bobby. So to see them right there at 27 points, again, I'm telling you, Win always finds a way to earn money in tournaments like this. He's a great player, a great teammate, and has got a great team behind him, apparently, with 18 kills in that one. They are the highest slaying team on the map in our first map.
Which is crazy, because when we watched him pretty close to late game, he didn't have any kills. So whether they were picking those up as a team or he was mainly playing support role, it was obviously working. So some surprises here, some not so surprising things. Lotex gave his 2 favorites for who are going to win this, and 2 of them were in the top 3 in Team Raging Cactus and Team Slayer. Obviously making our way a little bit further down the list, seeing some of our PC and console creators, both Dazzy and Iceman Isaac on that second little spread. And then the one really unfortunate thing, Team Aerith didn't even hot drop and still only managed to get 1 kill. So that's something that has certainly got to change. Obviously not a battle royale main, but I feel like if you're gonna play the passive route, you got to do that in a way that's gonna actually give you an advantage. And it seemed like even without playing aggressive, they still found a way to lose those gunfights early, which is
yeah, I think Bobby's throwing a little bit of shade, but it's a great shout though. I mean, one of the things we saw it in the replay, I think they just got landed on. Like, it looked like Aerith was able to pick up 1 kill, I believe, which is why they have 1 point, but unfortunately lost the overall team fight. And if your entire team's stacked and you all die, nobody can buy each other back or scan their dog tags back, and so because of that, you're out of the lobby quickly. But a fun look at that leaderboard, a lot to be learned. And again, the litmus test, I think it came back pretty acidic. My goodness, it was a hot game, a very fast-paced game, and some of our teams really did succeed in hot dropping and slaying out and earning challenge points. If you can hit the whole gambit, you don't even have to pick a playstyle. You just pick them all and move on your merry way to the top of the leaderboard. It'll be fun to see if strategies change in Blackout. And I want to talk a little bit about Blackout as we're moving into game number 2. Things shifting on its head a little bit. We've got some new challenges we're going to talk about. But let's take a look at our maps again. And of course, we've got to celebrate Raging Cactus winning that map and being top of the leaderboard. You're going to see his name there on our first isolated map. But it's time to move to Blackout. So Bobby, I want you to reiterate what you talked about. Blackout, different map, different strategies. What you got for me?
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, a very vehicle-dominated map, and obviously we did see the SMRS and the FHJs coming out right there, which can be a good counter to vehicles, but especially with how much ground there is to cover and how wide the map is without a ton of verticality, I've got a feeling we will see more of those vehicles coming into play on this one. I am also interested to see how that changes the playstyle and maybe gives some team a little more advantage. I know Noah not happy with his results on that first map, but he played a ton of Blackout back in the day. So I've got a feeling this is one he might feel a little bit more comfortable with, especially from a competitive POV.
Yeah, a lot of our PC creators also played Blackout when it was on a couple different devices and consoles, etc. So I think they're going to feel a lot more comfortable on that map. Let's see what they're able to do. Speaking of that map, we've got brand new challenges. And, well, Bobby, you were right. We got another hot drop challenge. This time, teams might think twice about dropping into firing range here in the first 2 minutes of the map. If you all drop firing range, you're going to earn those extra 8 points, and you hope and pray that you're going to get all the kills that you need to survive that hot drop and move on your merry way. But we've got a couple other things here, a couple points here for custom bling, where if any of your team members acquires a custom loadout from an airdrop, and then we've got AR knock. So the first map, we said, hey, you got to get a knock with an SMG. In our second map here in Blackout, it's got to be an AR. So I expect a lot of our teams to get this. The question is, how many of our teams will get all of them? This time, we've got a total of 16 points in challenges in total, if I'm doing my math correct. Bobby, what do you think about this? Are you hot dropping after first map if you're Noah Sunday?
Oh, if I'm Noah Sunday, absolutely not. I think you look at the overall number of points, and you look at how many points the top teams got. You've got teams that are getting 30-plus points in a game. risking your entire game just for 8 points, to me, doesn't seem worth it, especially if you don't feel confident in your teammates' ability to find those wipes. So maybe if we're looking like a team with Raging Cactus, who had a really good map 1, and you're saying, well, we just want to continue to build on this, maybe there's an opportunity where they feel confident enough in their chemistry to where they want to try to wipe that. But you got to keep in mind, firing range is also a smaller POI than launch base, which means it's that much less likely that your full team is going to come out alive.
Yeah, I like these choices, by the way, on the map of where the hot drops are, because they are pretty much dead center of the map. A great drop traditionally on these maps. A lot of people go there, but they're dead center, and so your rotations coming out of here are actually pretty solid. You're probably going to be in zone for a while. You don't really have to leave. The hard part is how many teams drop there and if you're able to survive. I think what Stone Mountain's team did at the very beginning of our first map in Isolated is the right strategy. Play the POI, but play a position in the POI where you're not going to get flanked by 35 different players that all drop there as well, whether it's the ultimate high ground or the edge of that POI. I think that's probably the play. And of course, hopefully you get some good ground loot off the rip so that you're able to get involved and maybe get an AR knock and get some extra points as well. If you're able to knock out 2 challenges at once, like Slayer was at the beginning of that last map, I think that's going to be the play, Bobby. All right, moving into Blackout. Give me a phrase, a word of wisdom for the teams out there. What do you got for me?
I think heading into Blackout, I mean, once again, you gotta hit the mental reset after map number 1, or if you're a team that did well, carry that momentum, play with confidence. I think so much of these team fights really is about confidence, and when you're moving as a unit, when your utility is on point, that's where you're really going to shine and pick up those big chunks of points like we saw for Team Raging Cactus. So yeah, you want to pick up a lot of points, but also the majority of those points coming at the end of the game. Don't want to play anything too terribly risky, especially if you had a game 1 where things didn't go your way.
That's a great shout. Well, folks, if you can't tell, COD Mobile doing a lot in this space, and they've been doing it well for a long time. Make sure you drop a follow with Call of Duty Mobile on all major socials. We are live on YouTube, TikTok. We're having a dang good time with chat. Feel free to keep asking questions, or maybe give me some predictions. Who do you think's going to win here on Blackout in Game 2? This playing line a little bit different than the last. We're headed to the west side of the map, and we'll see who drops to firing range. It's going to be a little bit of a stretch, but a lot of folks potentially headed that way.
But we do see a lot of teams dropping initially right there. I don't know if maybe they're stuck right now or just waiting for an update, but as you can see, spreading out all across the map. And we do see those helicopter spawns as well. Another thing that you're going to want to keep your eyes on, as it's so crucial, especially on a huge map like Blackout. And as expected, chaotic here in firing range. Maybe not quite as many teams. Nope, I take it back. That's pretty much the entire lobby.
Yeah, all right.
They're all landing and then dipping. They say, I'm not risking anything here. Honestly, not a bad strategy.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, Raging Cactus getting out of here, Thesaurus PG getting out of here as well, landing, getting their points, and leaving. A couple other folks deciding to stay. I think just about, I want to say that's what, 5, 6 different squads decided to land there. That was a very interesting start. So grab your firing range points and then bolt and get the heck out of here. Definitely the right play. We're going to swing over to Team Chiffon as they picked up some of the points on our board, trying to figure out where they want to go from here.
You said AR. You said
yeah,
AR.
it seems like they're looking to get the AR knocks early on. That is an RPD, so obviously not going to count there.
That's
but,
AR. He's not AR. He's not AR. Used.
Points are points nonetheless.
AR
As far as the eliminations, you can hear the comms coming through right there. Things are getting spicy. All players up right here, so opportunity for them to find big value here in the early game.
I landed there and then I ran.
Bro,
I think it's 2
Yeah, I
minutes.
think Chiffon panicked for a moment, thinking, "Wait a minute, is this an AR? Does this count?" I don't think so. Picking up a couple people that seem to be maybe messing with their settings or otherwise, but gonna pick up potentially a couple kills and then move on their merry way. Now, if you can find an AR here, then you can keep fighting. That's great. And then get out of firing range ASAP. Good grief. Way too congested here. It looks like Jacob Gaming still in the mix. Inside of firing range, figuring out how to address some of these fights. And we'll keep taking a look at different players and where they're at on the map. It looks like last standing in firing range is going to be Jacob Gaming and Chiffon. Not sure however many more people decided to stay. I like this strategy, though, Bobby. When we start thinking about hot drops and just landing, getting your points, and immediately running, probably not gonna get killed on your way out.
No, but we see Jacob taking down Chiffon right there, so I don't know if that was a full wipe. Chiffon seemed a little bit lost on what was happening, but that's I think it might actually be more players down early in the game than last time around, which is a little surprising because as many people as dropped there, it seemed like they were a little bit more conscious of dipping as quickly as possible. Maybe some crazy fights on the way out, but that's a pretty solid chunk taken out early on.
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see who all has completed all of their challenges. We've seen several challenges being completed and it's kind of moving across our screen when they are. A couple folks picking up some AR kills early. I want to say I saw Winsanity's team were able to pick up an AR kill, so they'll get a couple points headed their way.
I was like running around punching people.
And it looks like if you didn't complete it, then it's just run out of time. So that was that expired message that you'll see for a lot of these challenges. But a full team on the other side, Jacob Gaming getting into the mix. Couple tags, one out in the open. Jacob, oh, I think he runs out of ammo. To figure out how to play this fight. Close to it. Picks up one, but trades out.
That's one of the big things that maybe non-COD mobile players are going to struggle with here. He got a smoke bomber in his hand that could have given him a huge advantage going into that gunfight and just kind of holds on to it, ends up losing the gunfight as a result. Got to have that presence of mind, especially with aggressive classes like the smoke bomber, like misdirection, things like that, knowing when to call that in to give yourself the advantage. So fortunately for him, his teammates able to clean things up right there, and once again coming out alive here at firing range. Got to make sure you get those plates popped as well. Don't want to give up any easy knocks to the opposition.
Yeah, I think it's a really good call out. You know, being willing to use your class abilities is just massive for some of these fights. And you're right, some of the players that maybe don't play COD Mobile's BR often are definitely going to have to struggle until they learn that these are really valuable. It does look like Jacob Gaming has one out for the most part in firing range, so a huge boon for them.
Uh-oh.
I went down.
Spoke too soon. Team Aerith sneaking nearby. She's going to be able to pick up one. Not sure how many players they have alive. We haven't gotten a whole lot of her POV so far, but that team win. As expected, that's not a team that I thought was going to go for a lot of aggressive hot drops, sitting back, playing things passive, and it really worked out for them last game with how many kills they were able to farm.
Yeah, that was definitionally a caster curse there. And I wonder if Aerith maybe dropped nearby, but didn't drop hot and then skated over to get kind of the cleanup. Not a bad strategy, but Winsanity in a bit of trouble or maybe causing the trouble. Medic class, obviously a huge value add. Gonna heal up teammates, keep them alive longer in some of these team fights.
Push, yeah, push.
I believe that is Team Dazi that they're fighting against right now. We saw SMRS flying across, trying to run over with the vehicle and looking to clean up kills as well. That is Dazi wiped off. Still has some teammates alive. You can see Win's teammates getting aggressive right here and looking for the finish. One player down. They're on the hunt for those remaining players.
You can hear some of the comms. I mean, this is, again, a lot of these teams haven't practiced together. They've all been playing quite a bit to practice for this $50,000 tournament. But you could hear some of the comms from the players of like, push, we got to take these fights. But
yeah, bro.
let's see, Chiffon's team has decided to kind of stick around nearby firing range. They're still alive, obviously.
He killed
So they're
one.
in a good spot. I'm just super curious. I wonder if we could get it on replay of like if Aerith actually hot dropped and landed there and we just didn't see her and her team until she came in for the cleanup, or if they landed nearby and then swung over. I don't know, but either way, a good strategy.
Yep.
We do get Little B's POV for a second right there, so his squad's still alive after their big game #1. We've got Slayer getting back into the action. Top 3 finish for them on map 1, and looks like they'll be able to pick up loadouts right here. Having those additional attachments to speed up your time to kill, give you more accuracy, plays a huge role, especially for the AK-117, which is, I would say, pretty consensus #1 gun in COD Mobile BR, and is not currently ground loot either, so having all 4 players able to pick that up early should be huge.
Yeah, we do. We should 100% engage on this guy. 345. 345. Official. I'm gonna pop a smoke.
Good comms here from Cisco. He's got a read on a team ahead of him.
I believe
he's gonna try to smoke up forward. Cisco thinks it's a solo, and well, we swing over to Kaylee's perspective, and we got a full team of 4 here playing well together, picking up 1.
I hoped. I don't know
Entren.
I'm not trying to backseat game right here, but Kaylee, we gotta get that device closer to your face. There's no way we're getting max value with the device all the way on your desk.
Yeah, you can tell some of our PC creators are working on their, you know, whether it's the 4-finger, the 6-finger, the 5-finger, or just, hey, that device is just too far away. We're learning. We're learning as we go.
No, seguro. No,
I think that might be Team Win that they're engaging with right now, so
yeah.
I think they're gonna look to get aggressive. And she didn't look super confident in the approach they were taking to that gunfight. Once again, confidence is just such a big role where even if you don't have the best gunny, if you're able to catch the other team off guard, that gives you so much of an advantage. And it looks like high ground right here gonna give them an opportunity as Win looks to line up the snipes.
And again, this is fracking tower, so this is going to be just to the south side of firing range. Oh, wow. Actually, a couple teams here. You see Kaylee hold up in some of these smaller buildings on the right-hand side. Big West, Papachulo pushing the equation for Team Winsanity. Winsanity playing the back line.
No, son otro team. Recoge Blackout.
It's actually running a sniper, which is not a bad play. In quads, there's a lot more room to work as a team with obviously your classes, but also just weapon choices. Especially when you've got some really aggressive players on your squad.
I think especially with how flat Blackout is, Sniper's such a good option because there are so many angles that you can make use of a sniper. And I think especially for Win, who's coming from another game, playing a sniper might be the most transferable mechanic just because it's point and click. Like if you can get the crosshair in the right position, then you're gonna find the damage. You don't need to know the recoil patterns. You don't need to have all the right attachments. You can if you get things lined up, then that's where you're gonna be able to do the damage. And especially with him knowing how to play those high ground angles, knowing how to make use of cover, that's something that I think we'll see him continue to do, especially on these Blackout maps.
Well, Insanity and Rolex know each other very well, and certainly going to be some trash talk here if they do end up engaging. I only saw Kaylee by herself. Maybe her teammates ended up getting picked up, and now down goes Kaylee. Win able to tag up a couple. This is going to be Rolex versus Win. We're on edge of zone. We've got to rotate right now. I love if we can, while watching this fight, if we could pull up the map quickly. I think they've got a decent way to go. Here's a quick look at it. Yeah, we got to get all the way up to the south side of... I mean, they could go up maybe to the south side of firing range. If I'm them, though, I'm probably rotating left. Now, they can't see what we see with all of the players on the screen. But they have to fight outside the safe zone. And then if I was them, I would probably try to rotate up the south side over to the left side, the west side of the map. Where there's going to be a lot less players hunting that edge. But we'll see what they decide to do here, Bobby. I mean, they've got to fight each other here. They're going to, unless they've got a vehicle, they're going to risk getting shot in the back on rotation.
Yeah, it looks like Rex is going to be able to push up there to get at least one kill. They do need to get tags, and fortunately, it's early enough that the zone's not hitting for a ton, but you've already seen how much Win's been taken down. He's the one with the medic class, so they really need to group up right here and see if they can regen. He's going to pop it, and that'll get him back close to full HP. Looks like another team doing something similar right here is... They're gonna just Team Raging Cactus stacking up in the back of a truck, getting their chip terminals locked in as well. It looks like he wasn't able to upgrade his. Running the spotter class, which I didn't really expect to see, but especially when you're set up in some of those late game situations, could be huge for trying to take players off of high ground.
Yeah, good shot. Well, we're gonna swing over to Slayer. See what they're doing.
One is smoke. Left is smoke.
Inside of zone currently, but not inside of new.
You smoke. You smoke. One in our back.
Gonna fight. Looks like some high ground. Yeah, I was gonna say. I bet this team's split on the high ground of both of these buildings. This is gonna be a tough fight to take. Slayer moving quick though. Pushing the equation.
I killed
Looks
him.
like very easily able to find
On top
one.
of you, still two. Still two.
That's Farouk going down on the other side. This is Team Farouk in trouble. I mean, taking high ground, it's only a matter of time before they wipe this whole team if they haven't already. Be able to push forward. We're at 61 players left in the lobby here, Bobby, and it looks like Farouk's
I know,
teammates
I
are
have an
hiding
idea,
out
I have an idea.
on top of this
But I need
building.
to get the other car. Wait. Just play slow. Cover me.
It really, all it takes is one good nade, especially cluster nade, to wipe that off.
He knows I'm coming for him.
I really just am looking as dumb as can be for trash talking Little B early on. They have 46 points now, 14 challenge points in this one. They're racking them up, tied for first place with Team Rage and Cactus. My oh my, what a performance out of them. And once again, I hope we can get his POV a little bit more, because I'm still not even 100% sure who his teammates are.
150.
Yeah, and also quick notes on that leaderboard. I saw Repulse was able to pick up all 16 of the challenge points this time around, so they've jumped up the leaderboard pretty dramatically. We'll keep checking in with all of our teams. Total of 16 on the table for teams to grab, but Little B able to grab 14, with Raging Cactus only able to grab 8. That's the reason that spread is so tight, and they're now tied in overall score, regardless of not counting the amount of kills they have. But here goes Raging Cactus. Now, we talk about this all the time when it comes to Battle Royale. Vehicle rotations are much safer, especially when you've got old Big Bertha, like we like to call her. Great vehicle with a lot of cover and a lot more health than the other vehicles out there. Able to rotate in with all 4 players playing this edge of zone.
Medic's ready, medic's ready.
No. They're actually going to wrap outside zone right here. Maybe looking to play off the edge, or really not entirely sure. Definitely an unusual approach. And they might have info on a team that they're trying to hold outside, but look a little bit lost right now. They've got a spotter class that's getting called in close by.
They're coming down. They're coming down.
Oh my.
Yeah, very interesting strategy,
Bro,
but
get
we
my
got to pay
tech,
attention to what's going on with Slayer.
My tech just can.
Slayer's out.
Trading
lives, though.
Guys,
Looks like
someone
Team
say,
was able to
like,
trade out a
nice.
couple kills and grab maybe some dog
Hide,
tags.
hide,
Nice
hide
drop
and
shot
push
there
doors.
from
Hide and
Slayer's
push
teammates.
Heal up. Noriega, go with them. Same building.
I'm out of ammo. I'm out of plates.
Bro, take the loot.
Wait a second.
It's
Bro,
very
close the doors,
obvious
close the
that
doors, close the
Slayer
doors. They
IGL
might
for
be
this
inside.
team. He is locked in, getting his teammates in
Noriega,
shape,
there's one
trying to
on the
make sure that
careful.
they get the dog tags. Here's
Use medic,
push.
use medic. Close the
His
doors,
teammates
close the
get
doors,
in
guys.
with his other teammates, and all 3 now stacked
There's
inside.
no
He's,
revive
please
flights.
close the doors.
You
Get
need
me
to wait
back,
for me, just
and
hold
then he's going to be able to grab his loot, hopefully.
They're all around.
Stacked inside, and they've got a medic class, so anybody that
Okay,
tries
I'm
to
gonna
push
let
them
you
is
guys
going to be
need to cover
pushing
the door.
against double
I'm coming
HP
in
as
now.
well.
I'm
It
coming
looks
in
like
now.
they're able to get out alive. And there's still footsteps everywhere, but he seems confident enough to at least go for some of the loot here. One pushing up the stairs. Defender pops there as well. And no knocks as of yet, but pure chaos on the inside of this building. We switched to Team Stone Mountain, who looks like they've been able to take down one, but hopefully we can get back to the action right there.
SMG ammo or shoddy ammo?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot more defenders than I was expecting. I mean, the transformer shield is good, but I think it's just the actual cover it provides, especially when you're inside of a building like that. You can set up some really good pinch points, so a lot more defenders. We'll keep an eye out for that.
Ben. It's zone.
The biggest thing about the defender, especially in close range engagements, is it throws a flash off the front of the shield as well, and gives you a huge advantage off the opening gunfight. Stone Mountain gets greeted by a barrage of explosions, and he doesn't know what to do about it right there. I think he's still got teammates alive, but that went 0 to 100 real quick. When Sandy and his squad still alive, all 4 players remain right here, and another opportunity for them to put big points on the board and continue to climb.
Wind's got a decent high ground position on kind of the south side of the zone.
Aquí, mano, ven. Come. Aquí. With me.
Looks like they've actually spotted a couple on the edge of zone.
No pique.
También tenemos top. Tenemos el top también.
This team, I mean, there's a reason they were so dominant in the very first map in terms of overall kills, because you can hear the comms. I mean, they are flying. This is a very well-oiled machine right now. Being able to call each other off of fights, reset back up, play patient here is the right call. 29 total players left in the lobby, but you can see 9 total teams. So teams have dwindled much more dramatically as we have 2 teams fighting outside the safe zone right now. You can see 1 player from U4 able to skate through and able to make it out of dodge, but 9 total teams, 26 players. These placement points are very valuable, and Winsanity's team in a really good position. We're going to watch out for them.
Yeah, Cisco is just going to play the stay alive game as long as he possibly can. He's got double loadouts right now, so if he gets into a 1v1 engagement, opportunity for him to do some damage, and it looks like that big fight ends up going the way of Team Thesaurus. They've got to push towards zone right here. I don't know if they've got a medic class. Now would be the time to pop, and they do exactly that, but they got to get aggressive here. Zone's starting to take for a lot, and they've got to look to make a push as a unit. Trying to wait to the last second, but here they go.
I'm supporting us with my good looks.
Papa PG supporting with his good looks. Hopefully some bullets down range. We'll see. Somebody, a smoke bomber on the other side, spotted through that smoke. There's Raging Cactus yet again in the final circle. On the left side, holding Thesaurus PG's team, able to rip them up for a couple. Winsanity in a powerful position, but now having to move.
Left side, watch out left side, full squad. Full squad left side.
I don't know if I'm crazy. I swear I saw 2 teams on the inside of that Bertha. That may have been my eyes deceiving me, but maybe somebody sneaking around. I believe there's 2 different teams. I don't know if somebody's prone in the back of it.
Yeah, just
no,
in
there's
the back.
2 people prone in the back of it. Camilo's gonna hop out right here. He's just trying to stay alive as long as he can, and he ends up getting a knock onto Raging Cactus.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 2.
Camilo Lethal showing some crazy strategies to stay alive. Only 9 players left, and it looks like Lucky's team's got 3, so they're gonna have player advantage most likely for this fight. A pretty big moment. I mean, they've got the defender shield to work behind a little bit here. Again, classic final circle, not a lot of cover. So anything that you can create is big. Here are our 3 final teams. And wow, it's 3 teams of 3 this time around. Winsanity, bottom right-hand corner. And we got Lucky on the left. I think Winsanity's team is actually in one of the best positions right now. Again, playing behind a defender shield. No wonder everybody likes this. A medic and a defender on just about every single team. But they're going to try to get a little closer to Lucky's team and potentially start this fight. Usually when there's 3 teams, you want to be the team that is not the aggressor. You want to be the third party that comes in late. Starting a fight usually a problem, but it looks like Winsanity's team nice and safe right now, picking up a couple kills. Getting flash for day, though.
Yeah, only 5 people remain, and Raging Cactus has 3 players on his squad. They've got the advantage. They've got the high ground. Sniper in hand. Motion's going to be able to hit one. Looking to follow up, but zone's going to become an issue. They've got to push in. They get the kills when Sanity drops, and Team Raging Cactus back-to-back wins to get things started here in Mythic Mayhem.
Good grief. Well, we knew they were going to be a strong team. I didn't think they'd go back-to-back. The only team to have won a map thus far. They have 30 total just placement points with 2 wins today. An absolute massive boon for them. And even still, though, Winsanity's team able to make it to top 5, likely pick up a couple kills as well. I think there's going to be a really tight race at the top of this leaderboard. Raging Cactus absolutely will be there, but Team Winsanity also going to be up there with them. And really fun final circle. This one, pretty similar to the last where it was wide out in the open, but this time 3 teams with 3 defenders behind the defender shields. It was just a matter of who moved first and who had the better shot, and it looked like Team Raging Cactus wins out in all of those categories. But again, tip my hat, Lucky Shamu was able to make it to the final circle and also get those extra 10 placement points, so should be nice on the leaderboard for him.
Yeah, no question. And once again, Team Winsanity making it very late in the end game right there. So even though they may not have had the most kills, they may have had the most kills and we just couldn't see it because it was his teammates. It was the case last time around with them picking up 18 eliminations. It seems like they should be sitting in a pretty good position. And once again, a team that we didn't think was going to make a big dent in the early point count, Team Little B, we saw them pretty high up. Not sure when they ended up getting eliminated, but they certainly seem like contenders at this point, despite the fact that we haven't really seen them in the endgame.
Well, here's a quick look back on some of the replays from Blackout, and it was utter chaos in firing range. So many people dropped here, and some of those people, aka I believe Raging Cactus, dropped here and immediately sprinted for their life, and it apparently paid off because they were able to stay alive, unlike some of the people on the other side of Jacob's gun and Chiffon's gun. We swing over Noah Sunday, a little bit of highlight here on main, able to pick up a kill. But it was Team Winsanity able to make it to top 5 and pick up a ton of kills in transition. I'm really excited about Team Winsanity's comms, by the way, every time we tuned in. I said this before, just really clear comms, making nice decisions as a team. Slayer's team getting Mixie, Slayer unfortunately falling, but his teammates getting trades, and they all locked themselves in a room until Slayer was able to get back on his feet. They likely had a pretty decent game as well. The Raging Cactus, they held the Source PG's team, and they were able to set up for the end game and played it near flawlessly. What a fun way to finish this fight, Bobby.
Yeah, absolutely, no question. It's and that's one of the cool things about Blackout is you get so many different types of end zones to where you could be wide open in the middle of the field, or you could be smack dab in a building, and it didn't really seem to matter what the situation is. Team Raging Cactus were the better team in every single one of those scenarios.
Yeah, it's fun to see too when we saw that leaderboard pop up from just the challenges. You got to remember 15 placement points, of course, if you win the game, which Raging Cactus is the only team to have done that. 16 total challenge points available on the map this time around. It was Repulse, one of the only 2 teams, I believe, that actually completed all of the challenges and got 16 points from that. So pay attention. Those challenge points are very important. Are they necessary? Absolutely not. Team Raging Cactus, I think only got 8 of those points because, again, they hot dropped and then they bounced out of there. So I don't think we're able to get the AR knock fast enough because the time ran out because they were just running for their life from that hot drop. But even still, likely at the top of the leaderboard. Folks at home, it's been fast already. We are 2 games in of a 5-game tournament. We're going to take a very short break here in the booth. I need you to freshen back up. Make sure you're logging your rewards. Make sure you're logged into Call of Duty Mobile during the break. Get some water, though, because it's real hot here in the booth. We'll come back with game number 3, and we'll be halfway through this tournament. Don't go anywhere.
Guys, someone feel like nice.
Welcome back to the $50,000 Call of Duty Mobile Mythic Mayhem. We are 2 games done and dusted, 3 more to go, and it has been fast. We're Raging Cactus, the only team to have grabbed a win today. Can anybody stop them? That's the big question. Folks, we have $50,000 on the line, but we've got rewards for you at home just for hanging out with us and watching the broadcast and maybe getting your hands on the game. There's 2 different ways to earn rewards. I want to break it down for you again. First and foremost, you can just open up Call of Duty Mobile right now and click this big yellow icon and watch the broadcast in-game. Super cool that we've got the broadcast in-app right now. And for every 15 minutes that you watch, you're going to be earning rewards. If you watch for a total of 2 hours, you're going to earn a total of 1,200 credits and 7 secret caches, all epic, which is really exciting stuff. On the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see a giant QR code. If you scan that QR code or click the link down in the description below if you're over on YouTube, you can open up Call of Duty Mobile. It's going to open it up for you, and if you don't have it downloaded, it'll open it up on the App Store so you can get it downloaded. Once you scan that QR code and then complete 5 matches, you're going to earn rewards. Total of 6 secret caches, 3 of those being epic, 2 legendary, and 1 mythic. Now, again, you have to complete 5 matches, but you have to scan this QR code or click the link in order to then proc the opportunity to get those 5 matches and get your rewards, okay? Makes sense? Sound good. A ton of rewards going your way. Come hang out with us, watch the broadcast, play a couple matches, and earn all of these rewards just for being here for the Call of Duty Mobile Mythic Mayhem. It's been a lot of fun thus far, and we are just getting started. So I want to bring back Bobby into the booth with me. We got to talk about leaderboard here shortly. And Bobby, again, Raging Cactus, our top team today in terms of winning games. And I think the big question in my mind, and I'm sure the same in yours, is who else is up there on that leaderboard? We're looking at top 8 making cash today.
People underestimate, obviously, you want to get that first place slot, but everybody's battling for top 8 at the end of the day. So I think we will see some of these teams start to make a little bit more of a push, especially if you're at the bottom of the leaderboard. It's one thing if you're kind of middle of the pack, you want to continue to sit back, don't take too big of a risk. But we got 2 games down already, and I think especially if your team is under 10 points right now, you got to start to make a little bit of a push, especially with how many points have been able to accumulate over the course of the past 2 games. Once again, the ability to revive teammates with the frequency that you can in Call of Duty Mobile BR provides so many opportunities to pick up those elimination kills that we have seen a lot more points stacked than I think a lot of these players expected.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think one of my favorite parts about Battle Royale broadcasts, especially here in Call of Duty Mobile, is that we get a chance to learn what the players have been strategizing with. And one of the things I'm noticing is that, hey, we thought potentially vehicles, tanks, and all that in between may make an appearance, but I think just about everybody realized, hey, wait a minute, they're not as strong as we thought they might be. Instead, let's focus on which classes we're picking, which weapons we want to be choosing. When you have rocket launchers or you've got your cluster nades and everything in between, vehicles a little bit more difficult, more focused on rotating correctly and being in the end game. So Bobby, I want to spend a little bit of time while we wait on this leaderboard to get finalized talking about those classes we've seen, because this is a really unique part about Call of Duty Mobile and its Battle Royale, is that these classes have very unique abilities that can totally change the game. I mean, let's just think about the end game of this last map and how much the game was changed because of the 2 classes we're seeing the most of, Defender and Medic.
Yeah, those are certainly the 2 must-have ones. And like you talked about, with the ability of just instantly having cover with the Defender class, and then on top of that, giving so much of an advantage in those head-to-head gunfights whenever you get that instant flash, whenever you place it down. Those 2 combined make it a must-have, and then on top of that, we've seen so many of those plays in the outside of zone where it gives teams a little bit more time to kind of strategize, to wait to the last second to make a push, and make it so that you're not necessarily going head-on into a gunfight. Those 2 have been the must-have, and then on top of that, I think Smoke Bomber is the other one that we've probably seen with the most frequency, just because it has so much utility. You can play it aggressively with the Smoke Bomber class, giving you the ability to see enemies on the inside of smoke, but you can also use it defensively to help your team with rotation and things like that. So it just has so many different uses that it's tough to justify not using that one. And then beyond that, you have some teams that like to get aggressive, use misdirection. You have some teams that want to sit back. Interestingly enough, Raging Cactus rocking Spotter class, which I didn't expect to see, but it's very obviously worked for his team so far in this one.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about different comps, right? Like what works well for an entire team. I think it does seem like every team at least has one medic and one defender. I mean, one of the other things we were talking about explosives, and we saw a couple people not be able to move because their entire body was exploded from 1,000 different explosives thrown at them. One of the big boons of the defender classes in defender class is that defense passive. So you reduce the explosive damage and the impact of all negative statuses. A huge boon if you're picking any of the defense classes under that category, but defender, of course, one of those. Igniter was one that a lot of people at home, I was paying attention to all of our creator streams, and some of them were asking, hey, what do you like to run? What's your favorite? Igniter was one that a lot of folks were like, oh, you should run that, you should run that. But I think you called it out at the top of broadcast. That's more of like a content, like solo squads, like hyper aggressive. This is like top tier, like private lobby customs. Like we're bordering on like really sweaty pro level customs. And so because of that, it's going to be way more difficult to get any sort of value out of that class. It's been fun to see kind of what all of these players choose and how they end up playing. But again, like I said, the litmus test of our first two maps, how they were going to be played, very acidic, very aggressive, a lot of kills, but playing for placement, a big boon. I mean, Bobby, let's talk a little bit while we're waiting on these scores too. First map isolated, teams were aggressive, but we had way more teams alive at the end of the game. Remember, I think going into like third to last circle, there was like 16 teams still alive, but in Blackout, there was only about 7 or 8, I think. And I wonder if that was just because of the zone that was given, or if you have any thoughts around that. I think maybe a hair more cover on the Blackout zones until we got to the last one.
Yeah, I think the open nature of the Blackout map just tends to make it a little bit more difficult to survive. There's not as many kind of mountain terrains where you can hide in corners, like we saw COD Ninja at the end of game number 1. Literally just sitting in a crevice inside of the mountain, and it got him into top 2 and allowed him to get a lot of those kills. So a very open, flat terrain whenever it comes to Blackout, and especially with how many players, like we talked about, are running FMJ and SMRS, there's not as much opportunity for you to make those rotations with vehicles, which makes it that much more difficult to stay alive. And no surprise to see that impacting those end results as far as the numbers that we saw. Definitely expecting that we'll probably see something similar to map number 1 as we get ready to head into map 3, just with players now feeling a little more comfortable as well with the way that they need to play this map to keep their team alive.
Well, let's take a look at the map 3 challenges while we wait on those scores. This time around, a total of 14 points available. The Butcher, Hit the Deck, and Hover Bike. Now, what do you think about these challenges? No hot drops this time around. The best one, 6 points. Have any team member knock an enemy player with a grenade? Which of these are the ones you think most of the teams are going to go for?
I mean, obviously, you got the most points with Hit the Deck, and I think the grenades are naturally going to find kills. It's just a question of having the right scenario to actually do that. It'll be really interesting because there's only one Butcher alive, and it's only 5 points that you can get out of it. So as much as I think a lot of these teams would like to have 5 points, that feels like an awfully big risk, especially with how out and open in the field the Butcher is at farm. Having your whole team there to take it down definitely is not going to be something that's easy.
Yeah, no, that's a really good shout. I wonder if there's a team that says, hey, I think nobody else is going to go for this because they're all expecting people to go for this. So therefore, we're the ones going for it. We'll pay attention to it and see if anybody goes to farm to try to get this one. 5 points, pretty solid. Obviously, 15 points to win the map. A total of 14 that you can earn if you can do all of these challenges. And hopefully, maybe you're able to pick up one of those grenade knocks early for a couple extra points as well. But with no hot drop, I think this map is going to play very differently. We're going to have a lot better spread across the map of where teams decide to land, and because of that, I think we're going to see an even spread of fighting throughout the course of this one. It'll be really fun to watch our map view and maybe draw some rotations and see who's going to run into who as we get into this map. But as a reminder, yes, we are headed back to isolated. Every single map, we're going to be swapping back and forth for a total of 5. So this is going to be our second of 3 isolated maps that you'll see today. I'm excited to get back into it. This time, not everybody landing in one spot all over the map. I wonder what the strategy will be. And I think, Bobby, the big thing that we noticed is that buy stations being on the map, the brand new addition here in COD Mobile, absolutely changes the way the game is played. I mean, if you're hitting that buy station early, what are the first things you're picking up? I mean, I think you're upgrading your class. You're getting a self-revive. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think a self-revive and a revive token just to be able to get that automatic redeploy, I think are the two biggest things. Obviously, players do want their loadout drops, but more than likely we'll probably see them try to wait and see if they get lucky enough with the opening loadout drop to where they don't have to spend their hard-earned money to actually get one for themselves. And once again, not having a hot drop this time around is also going to mean that the majority of teams are just better kitted and better able to stack up on money and buy those things early in the game, which is going to make the late game and those final zones that much more competitive.
Yeah, good shout. Well, here's a quick look at the map we're about to jump into, but as a reminder, go get your rewards. You can watch in-game right now. Click the symbol you can see on your screen right now. If you open up COD Mobile, you'll see that symbol. Click it, and you'll be able to watch the broadcast from inside the app. Really cool addition, but it's also a way to earn those rewards. Every 15 minutes, you're going to be earning some extra rewards, and if you can watch for a total of 2 hours, you're going to max out your rewards with all the credits you want, and of course, those secret caches. But it's time to get into the game. It's time to take a look at the flyover Raging Cactus, the winners thus far, the only winners thus far, and it looks like we got several teams hitting New Vision City nearly immediately, Bobby.
New Vision City's a great spot as far as loot, but I did not expect that many people were going to contest. I don't think we have any objectives tied to it either, so I'm not entirely sure what the goal is here. Maybe people going for hover bikes, or maybe they just didn't expect it to be nearly as contested as it was. As you can see, a lot of places on the outskirts that's completely untouched, and interestingly enough, Black Market, usually one of the hottest drops on the map, does not have a single person at it. It's got a chip terminal. It was right next to the drop, and once again, one of those situations where probably everybody's thinking, oh, I don't want to go there with everybody else, and it just ends up being completely free as a result.
Yeah, and again, Farm looked like it was, I think maybe 3 teams there, maybe going for the Butcher, so it's just about who gets him first. Be really curious to see who's at Farm and what they're doing. You can see Wynn's team maybe on the edge of Farm, and I think Wynn's actually dead from this fight already, so it's only a Big West and Rex alive on his team. Finally, Wynn's able to get back into the mix, but apparently Farm was a little hot.
Land on me.
Yep. Seems that way, and looking like he's trying to get back into the mix, as we do have the Defender shield going down. It's actually Defender versus Defender, and Rex able to come out on top with that one. Early shotgun pickup, definitely huge to get the buy 15 ground loot. Wynn's going to be able to clean up the rest of that, and we still got a few players close by as Rex picks up a few more.
Drive them over.
Okay, yeah.
Bro, on the
Like
Butcher,
Slayer might grab the vehicle and get into the mix. Smokes galore. Let's just start sweeping through here and see if we can find anybody. Oh, there's the Butcher, but here's a nice knock on Rex. Slayer's got a good idea, and I think he's got the best idea, is just try to steal the Butcher. The Butcher's weak. Maybe we can steal the points. Oh, I didn't see who was actually able to pick it up. We should see the redeem come in from somebody, though. Butcher was taken down there in the kill feed for a moment.
And a little 2-for-1 as he picks up the hover bike and gets the kill with it as well. That's one, honestly, probably the best vehicle in the game, just because it's so tough to dodge. It's so fast. It can fly over water, and it usually one-shots off of contact. So it's got a lot of utility. We got Aerith alive right here, but 2 players down already, looking to pick up tags. She's holding high ground for the time being. We don't know what their point count is, but after game 1, did not have a really comfortable amount, and we didn't see them late in the game either. So she really has to do her best to find a way to pick up these tags. Rocking the medic class right now and sticking with her teammate, hoping they can find those tags and give their team a chance to stay alive a lot later into the game.
Yeah, obviously, like you called out, a couple folks landing in New Vision, just being one of those.
Nice.
Our hover bike challenge is about to expire, so it looks like only 5 total teams were able to redeem that, if I saw that correctly. I believe it was a quantity of 25.
Did anyone get... Oh, not yet. I was like, wait.
I do not know how to get out of here, can't lie.
It looks like they were able to get the scan, so sitting pretty. Stone Mountain. Couple of AK-117 loadouts to work with for him, and
I need some AR
ammo. Loadout always going to be an advantage for your squad. Kind of strategizing right now. Vehicle, or I think that was actually an enemy helicopter flying away, but they have a vehicle of their own, not too far off.
For somebody. Take this
Right now, it seems like the squad trying to strategize for what their next move is.
You took the sniper, the freeze sniper? Jidra? Or not?
What is it?
The sniper you took from the drop? Your sniper or not? Okay, let's go. Move.
I didn't get the sniper. I got.
Yeah, I love listening into some of these comps because again, these players, not all of them, probably none of them know each other, or at least haven't played with each other a ton, right? The qualifiers were actually a solos qualifier, and then they were kind of randomly seeded. I think snake seeded across the board to our content creators, and so they're learning to play with each other for the very first time. And it looks like they were kind of strategizing on who should be sniping, making sure they have one sniper kind of playing anchor in the back, the other folks getting aggressive. Like you said, AK-117, really strong weapon right now in Battle Royale. Looks like Stone's following the meta, if you will. So we swing over to Cisco and see how things are going for his team.
We actually saw the Butcher challenge expire on the side, so looks like the team that took it down maybe forgot to register it in the system, which is unfortunate because that's 5 points gone to waste, and at the end of this one could potentially be the difference in a couple $1,000s.
That could be a couple $1,000 mistake. We'll take a look at it and see if maybe it was redeemed on the back end or not, and if not, then yeah, maybe a mistake that could be a huge problem on the leaderboard. I didn't see, that's what I was trying to pay attention to in the kill feed when we were over there. It was utter chaos because Slayer was just splattering people with hoverbike.
The only challenge we finished, by the way, is the hoverbike.
Oh, and it looks like Cisco was one of the teams. Thanks, Cisco. I appreciate it. It's good intel. Cisco was one of the teams that was able to get the hoverbike challenge done. So only 5 of the teams able to do that. And it is something to consider, too. Like, some of the challenges a lot easier than others. And so in the first couple maps, it looks like Swag's actually got an encounter. We'll come back to it in a second. As, unfortunately, Swag... He hit a couple, but unfortunately on the other side is COD Ninja, who said, oh, well, let me trade blows, my friend. And I think we know that COD Ninja shoots pretty straight.
Looks like the movement not really translating quite as much from console over to mobile. Maybe a couple more reps needed, but he's going to get taken down right there, hoping his teammates can get tags. COD Ninja is not the one that you want to challenge in a situation like that, and he probably was not aware of the beast that he was dealing with. We got Team Noah Sunday. They've yet to make a lot of noise in this one, but always a team to keep your eye out for. He's won so many of these events. Doesn't matter how far down they are, there's always a possibility to get back into it. They get their loadouts early on. Got that AK-117 Mythic in hand, and looks like some gunshots nearby.
Yep.
Oh my god, that trace was disgusting.
Welcome to the party. Noah Sunday said, thank you very much. You didn't know I was here. I'm going to get into the mix. Picks up 1. Should pick up a second here, no problem. Toxic able to trade out with him.
No, good shield. You're good.
Yeah, good, yeah.
They're weak.
Nice pickup.
Push.
They're playing this trade pretty well. Here's the thing. Once you have player advantage, you've got to swing on your opponents. Something we talk about in Battle Royale all the time. Nice squad wipe. Full team sent to the lobby. That's Farouk out of here. We are only missing right now, it looks like 25 or so players. And that's 4 of them that just got wiped by Noah Sunday's team. That's 4 points going to Noah Sunday.
Shots close.
Yeah, that's...
And it looks like there may be another team in the area.
And honestly, given how long we saw 70 plus in game number 1, it's a little bit surprising that without a hot drop, we've already got what looks to be at least 4 or 5 teams taken off the board right here, if not more. Looking to get aggressive toward the outside is Metalcore. Good friend for a long time, as he's been around the mobile battle royale scene for a hot minute.
Yeah,
looks like they've got 3 players still alive and tags that can be retrieved. Got to keep eye on the outskirts right there, and they're getting pushed quickly. Gotta look to get aggressive. You don't want to let yourself get pinched back and barraged by utility. Just like that.
Yeah, good call out. By the way, I did see Little Beef fall in the kill feed, so I'll be curious to see if his team's able to get him back up. But Metal swings outside, and immediately they're waiting on him, holding the angle. Cleaned up quickly. 1 goes down.
You're gonna just have to play
2 down, potentially all 3 of 4 down. We have 1 player left on Metalcore's team. And as we swing over to Iceman Isaac's squad, it looks like they were able to clean up a team and move on their merry way as well. I don't think Ice has a kill yet, his name, but his team likely a couple.
Got a lot of money.
Yeah, I know you mentioned him finishing pretty high in a COD Mobile event. I think that was the North American World Championship. I think he was actually on my friend D Hitman's team. So I remember, I think we actually tied with them in that event, which was really frustrating because I like to think that I'm better than Ken at video games, but unfortunately,
I don't know how.
that did not end up being the case. But to my defense, Iceman Isaac was the better teammate.
Yeah, he's solid.
Of the two there. So
Bro, we
credit
need to
to
go
him.
right side for the loot bar. We need to go right.
Definitely a big performance. Team Slayer continues to be aggressive. Big reason why they picked up as many points as they have, and he's just
I'm gonna
solo sending it right here. They got players on the rooftops. He's gonna be able to pick up loot,
ammo you need.
and they continue to just push everything.
I drop heavy.
Yeah, I'm trying to pay attention
No,
to
I don't.
resources. You can tell. I mean, they're basically as broke as it gets. Little to no cash to work with. Not going to get much from the buy station at all. So ideally, you wipe a couple teams here, pick up their loot, find some cash. Should be a huge boon.
Yeah, I have
but
one
pay
white
attention.
label.
This is the thing about Slayer's team that's so different from the others.
drop me a blue.
Up here in the top left-hand corner, 6 kills
I have one
on Slayer alone.
No,
They
I'm
are
dropping 50 here.
flying at teams right now. Gotta watch out for this squad. They've got to be near the top of the leaderboard. I
there's a
think
guy
we'll
in
have
front
all
in
of
the
our
building.
scores
The
in
right building,
at
the
the end
right
of this
building.
map,
It's
and we'll
good.
be able to give you a big update going into the final 2. This is a team that you got to pay attention to. They
He's
are
inside, he's
crushing
inside.
it right now.
I'm smoking
And it's
on
this highly aggressive gameplay is what's working so well for them. I mean, look at this. Come on, Slayer. Show off a little bit on main. That's 7
Yeah, the
kills.
custom was 7.
Oh, like once again,
I'll get
absolutely
some-
no
some-
disrespect to Metal, because if you are not, even if you're comfortable in COD Mobile Battle Royale, there's no way you're winning that gunfight. Doesn't miss a bullet on the AK-117 spray. The perfect slide to entry the gunfight. Like
medic, bro.
that's an
still on
unwinnable
the medic. He's
gunfight
still on
unless
the
you
medic.
got teammates helping you. And unfortunately,
He's
that's
running
going to
out,
be
he's
the
running,
end of the
he's
road
running,
for
running.
Metal,
Dude,
at
just
least
come, we're gonna
for
chase all
this
this over,
map.
bro.
And once again, just the confidence that they're showing. Head of the spear is Slayer, and he continues to push through every team that he sees, but I don't think he saw the player lower to the right. Was I seeing things, or was there somebody down there?
No, he should be down here.
The tank?
The tank's coming up here.
Oh, down the
that's amazing.
tank.
There
Yeah.
it is.
Don't die from the tank.
That's one way to rotate.
jumped,
Grab
he
a
jumped.
tank. Oh, no, he got back out. What are we doing?
Go for him, go for him.
We're giving his life away. I maybe he was afraid of
my
the
smoke.
rockets on the tank and getting blown up and thought maybe he could play on the ground, but game
Bro,
being cut
we're gonna
down.
need ammo. Let's go zone, guys. Sakura, we can camp in Sakura.
Yeah, come on.
Slayer apparently calling for a rotate out. I'm not sure that's a full squad wipe, but a nice pickup regardless. That's 8 kills for Slayer by himself. A huge boon for him and his team as
No,
they
we're just gonna
rotate
loot the buildings,
into
bro.
new.
Just loot the
It
buildings.
looks like I think they're thinking about maybe rotating a little bit deeper or just getting to these buildings and holding edge of zone. And I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to hold this edge of zone. Here's a quick overhead look, by the way. Noah Sunday facing off against Farouk, I think, there on the right-hand side. A couple teams off in the distance, but right now it's a little bit of a waiting game. Once you've made it to zone, there's a ton of buildings still in this zone.
People behind.
You don't have to push the equation right now, and you don't
Behind
want to
this?
risk anything if you don't have to.
Right, no, like right here in front, right in front.
We do get Dazi in the feed picking up a kill right there. I know he doesn't have a ton of reps in COD Mobile BR, but then he always translates. As I say that, he gets taken down, so pass curse by definition.
Right now,
Some like to call it the Bobby curse. To each their own. Looks like for the time being, King Farouk stacked up in the building, but they're getting pushed quickly.
Watch out, there's a guy in the
Big
house.
trade right there to buy them some breathing room, but need to get those tags. It looks like the first
behind
will
you,
be
behind you,
retrieved.
behind you.
No,
Yeah, he's up there.
There's a look at Noah Sunday's team.
There's a team.
Down to 61 players overall. Noah's got 2 kills by himself. Shots out of the top, pretty clean.
We're a little far back from you guys.
They've got 2 split right now. Noah's kind of playing
Did they just
backline.
go back up the hill?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they've done that.
Playing near center like this too, like you just don't have to be too active. You have to make a decision is the simple answer. You either have to hunt edge of zone or you play center and play patient. And it looks like one of their players, Toxic, has gotten a little impatient and has been punished for it. I don't even know if they're going to be able to get out there without risking their lives for it.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing right there, because it seems like
Someone's on the
3 of the 4
top
players
side,
are of the same mind, where they're gonna stack up in buildings, play rooftops, and let the game come to them. And you got one lone Leroy Jenkins that just decides he's gonna send it and ends up paying for it right there. And now it's the rest of the squad that is going to pay the price for it. So we got Stone Mountain getting aggressive with his squad once again. Smoke Bomber, such an important class in this one. One player going to get taken down for their squad in Camillo, trying to stay alive, and that's the spotter class coming in as well. This may be Raging Cactus and company.
Medic,
We'll see what ends up happening right here as they look to get the revive, and they've got medic class, so they're chilling outside zone for now.
Yeah, again, medic has so much value, and you're able to pick up teammates pretty quickly. But now that they've healed up, it's time to move to new. It's gotta move double time here, gentlemen. Go quickly, and there's gotta be a team holding them on the outside of the zone. The problem is there's, again, just hardly any cover. Like you said, a little more rolling hills on Isolated, so at least it's not like Blackout, which is a lot more flat. But there's gonna be somebody looking at him, and maybe they can play around this rock. But luckily, they did get draw the short side of new zone, so they're not gonna have to rotate too much further on next. Here in about 70 seconds or so.
Oh my gosh! Another explosion takes down Stone Mountain. He has not had a good time with those. A perfectly placed nade to take him down, and now 1 HP. There. Oh no, not a nade. It's actually a tank coming into play for the first time right there, and he's been greeted by every source of explosion possible in this one.
His eyebrow raised. He said, "What now? What happened?" Yeah, there's a tank shell. Oh, he's thinking over Parker. Sorry, just Slayer, not Parker the Slayer. Slayer comes in, picks up another. That's 9. He's looking at double digits by himself, running around in the open because he can. The visual cover of these rolling hills, kind of playing this mountainside. It actually has a really good position on the edge of this map to play for these outside kills and then move into new without giving too much away. Gonna try to play for these. Pushing up, teammates able to play Overwatch. He swings in from the other side. Again, Smoke Bomber, so valuable to be able to see through the smoke, lay down some fire, picks up one, tags another. He should be free for the most part. There's the angle. Holy cow. That is 11 for Slayer here, Bobby.
It's just fish in a barrel right there. They literally do not stand a chance, and that's why Smoke Bomber is a must-have class in this one. He could have had no team support and still gotten that wipe by himself. They just didn't really seem to be aware of the situation or the risk that they had sitting behind that Smoke Bomber smoke. So more free kills for him. That's now up to 11. You got to keep in mind, we've still got 32 people alive. Map number 1, most kills as a team was 18. He's got 11 by himself.
Yeah, this could be one of the biggest games of the day, especially if they get the win.
I have cluster on it. I'm finishing now. No, go cushion me!
Good shot.
I think that's actually the DLQ concussion mag. There's a sniper that has a concussion attachment that auto concusses when it lands. He's able to get alive. Can't say the same for Aerith as she gets taken down there.
Yeah, playing edge of zone there. Everybody rotating at the same time through the same area. This is the boon about getting here early. It's the classic conversation here in Battle Royale. If you can pick up some early eliminations, which of course this team was able to do, you can afford to rotate early. You don't have to worry about kills in the middle game. Get here early, and then you can farm. Slayer, a straight shooter, but also playing zone really well. Playing low side here is going to give a lot of cover for the now, it looks like 12 other players on the map who are immediately getting cut down whenever they enter Slayer's POV. This is unbelievable. 12 now for just him as an individual. Teammates likely a couple, and he's going to swing around the outside of the zone and push up, try to play a flank. Finds one, easily picks it up. That's a squad wipe. Now 11 total players on the map, and they have all 4 alive. This is a freebie for Slayer if they can lock in right now.
And that's a big squad wipe because Bardax was on Team Raging Cactus. That means they've been taken out of the competition. And it looks like free pickings right now as they're all full health. They've got everybody stacked up with double loadouts. And once again, all the confidence in the world. Up to 13 kills now. More smokes going down. A smoke bomber to work with. Lucky Shamu hoping his teammate in Camo can clutch up right here. 21K in his pocket. Nothing to do with it. And he is going to be able to pick up a frag with the Smurfs. I don't know how much more he's going to be able to do as a solo, but every point counts at this point.
Yeah, I mean, these are big points right now, let alone the placement points, as he finds one after the other. Launcher in hand, certainly valuable. Playing around the rock. Could finesse this player. The movement on tap almost styles on him.
Okay, just chill.
But it's Slayer and team.
Let's
able to crush it right now. They're missing one, so 3 players on the map for them. Still player advantage. It's going to be at least a 3v3, if not more. There's an elimination coming through. Slayer still finding more. That's 14 in total. A big win right now. 15 placement points on the line and pushing the equation. Finds another kill. Finds another elimination. Team off the distance, though, holding. Slayer's going to get traded out, but his team wins it. Overall, Slayer, your victors, and likely the top Slayers on the map. My goodness, 15 kills as an individual. The team had nearly 20. Bobby, what a dominant performance.
Yeah, that was a clinic start to finish. We figured it was going to be a bit of a long shot that we saw one team dominate all the way through and take every single map, and Team Raging Cactus even then still did a good job of staying alive till what seemed to be top 3, top 4. More than likely they got that second best point count, but I've got a feeling whatever lead that they had coming into this one, there's got to be a sizable dent from Slayer and Co.
A little sneak peek. I looked back on the replay. That was 24 kills as a team overall. Slayer with 15. One of his teammates had 5, 3, and 1. Overall, 24 kills, 24 points in kills alone. Another 15 on top of that from placement points. That's 39 without any challenge points. That is the biggest game of the day, no questions asked. We saw Raging Cactus put up a 36-point game at the very beginning of the day. A great map, but this one 39 without any challenge points, and I believe they picked up at least, I think they got the hover splatter kills, so they're going to get a couple points there. They're going to be over 40 for sure just in this map alone. I am so excited to see this leaderboard after 3. Things are definitely going to be shaken up. I assume Raging Cactus is still going to be up there. We did see them stay late in that lobby, but not a win this time from Raging Cactus's team because of Slayer's incredible performance. Let's take a look back though, Bobby, on some great moments in this map. Second map isolated, a little bit different.
Yeah, it certainly was. And interestingly enough, in the map where we didn't have the hot drop, it was actually a bit of a slower end game. So whether that be the result of teams taking a different approach or maybe a little more desperation to pick up kills, it certainly played out a lot different than the first time around. It felt like a lot more players just kind of lurking in off positions as opposed to pushing together. And once again, that comes with the confidence of playing as a team that has been around Call of Duty Mobile for a long time, understands the mechanics, the utility, the classes, and the way that those work together. The team chemistry was certainly on point for our top teams once again.
Nice, guys.
And of course, top team in this one was Slayer. A massive game, likely going to put them near the top of the leaderboard. We're calculating all those scores right now. We should get them to you as soon as possible, but a big map from them. Definitely going to, at the very least, close the gap to Raging Cactus at the top of our leaderboard, if not overtake them. But again, like we said before, Raging Cactus, I believe they made it. I don't know if they made it to top 5 or if it was just top 10, but either way, they're going to earn some placement points in this one as well. And so the question is, how many kills did they get? Where's Team Winsanity in this one? We saw him for a little while, but nothing to write home about. Noah Sunday pops off a little bit more in this one. We saw several kills go his way. They likely made it to at least top 15 to earn some placement points. I think a lot of question marks and some really exciting stuff. We're getting all those scores calculated. We'll show them shortly. But I don't know. I like hot drops, but Bobby, I think you're right, man. That was a lot of fun. It was a little bit slower in the end game, but that made it even more engaging. We were able to just kind of watch the storyline of Team Slayer move around that zone and play it near flawlessly. One of the things I was really impressed with was the calls to stay on the low ground on the short side of the zone and let the other team shoot at each other, and then Slayer peeked out around the corner, fried 2, 3, 6 kills, didn't matter, and then popped back into the right side of the zone. It was near flawless, and it was almost like they were playing a different game. It was a perfect execution.
Yeah, and once again, that just shows the gap between content creator and pro player. I know that Lotex was a late scratch. He would have been kind of the only other COD Mobile BR pro player besides Slayer making their way into the action, so he just has such a big advantage. I know that Bardax, that we've talked about on Raging Cactus's team, is the other player that's kind of been that big threat, but just such a difference with that level of experience and with that many reps against top players. It's really showing out here in this competition. We'll see whether it's enough to move into the top spot. Obviously not going to be easy to take down a team that went back-to-back in our first 2 games.
Yeah, it's a good shout. And again, folks, I got to remind everybody at home that we are playing for top 8. I don't know where everybody's at. We're about to get those scores. But, hey, top 8 is where we're making money, Bobby. You talked about it before. $50,000 on the line. $16,000 for first place, though. So we're playing for gold. We're playing for first place. That's $4K a piece. And that's community qualified players winning that money, content creators winning that money, and everybody in between. Been a really fun competition thus far. We are 3 games in, 2 maps to go. We're headed back to Blackout, and then we'll finish with Isolated. And it's been a lot of fun on the day. I think biggest takeaways is sometimes aggression pays off. I think Slayer's team there, one of the big boons. We can talk about their strategy, their positioning in zone, the way they played it, but it was just raw confidence, Bobby. That's the big thing at the end of the day, is if you play with confidence and you can shoot straight, you're going to pick up a lot of wins and a lot of kills, and they're able to get both in that one. So Raging Cactus near the top, obviously Slayer at the top. The big question mark is who else is up there, because 6 other teams are going to be winning some cash if those 2 teams stay at the top. So first and foremost, we are going to take a look at the match ranking. So this is just this last game. Here are your scores. Thank you for staying patient. Here are the scores from that one. Now, Team Slayer, I don't think have all their eliminations in here right now, because I think it was 24 in total. So that score is going to go up pretty dramatically, but they do have 15 rank points because they won the map and they had 9 challenge points. That's the thing to take a look at, is that you see 34, that's going to go up by about 14, I believe, if we saw those numbers correctly. So that's going to be the biggest game of the day by a mile. And then you look at some of these others. I mean, Noah Sunday was able to make it near the top there, probably able to pick up a top 5 position, it looks like, able to pick up 8 kills, solid game, 18 points. Team Lucky Shamu, though, 26 points. Another great game from them. A reminder, we saw them in the top 5 in game 2 as well, Bobby.
Yeah, no question. It's been some solid performances across the board. Team Noah needed a big performance. Team Aerith, it would pick up 17 challenge points right there. So even though the elims and the placement points are not falling for them, they're able to get a solid chunk. We're seeing a few of those teams who maybe had a slow start starting to pick things up. Team Stone Mountain doing a good job of knocking out those challenges as well.
Yeah, and I think some of these kills are still being logged in, so you'll see a couple of these shifts. But yeah, Team Rolex picking up a couple kills is big as well. Couple rank points here across the board. But again, I think the big thing is taking a look at some of the challenge points as well. I think we're seeing a lot of challenge points come through for some of these squads. Team Winsanity potentially picking up a ton of challenge points in that last one, maybe combining the last 2, picking up 21 in total. So again, there's a ton of different ways to earn points on the map. You don't have to be Slayer in order to earn points, but you do have to slay out at least a little bit. You got to get some kills. And so you see near the bottom of that leaderboard, not a ton of kills to boot across the board. And that's the thing that can probably get a little bit frustrating. It's like, how do we find more kills? Sorry, they were all taken by Slayer's team. I don't know what to tell you. It wasn't even close. So a big map for them. And we're getting that overall update, and we'll be able to showcase it. But hey, Noah Sunday, a pretty good performance in that last one as well. So I think what we saw from them is that they are a slow burn team. They had to warm up a little bit, Bobby. They worked on their chemistry a little bit, and they're going to maybe be in contention to win some cash today.
Yeah, I think for a lot of these teams, it's about getting a feel for the skill level of the lobby, the pace that people want to play at, the strategy that they want to play at. I think that's part of the reason why, not that Slayer has had a bad performance so far, but that he kind of leveled up right there, is he realized how many players in the lobby he was just so much better than, that he could run around, smoke bomb them directly, and gun every single one of them. So I think now that they've got a more familiar pace going right here, they're going to start to continue to build on that momentum. And I feel like despite the fact that we saw Team Raging Cactus win the first 2 maps, they've got to be a favorite to win this entire thing, just because of the confidence they were playing with throughout that entire game. It wasn't even just at one point or another. It was through and through dominant by that squad.
Yeah, good shout. Well, it's time to take a look at the overall leaderboard, folks. This is the moment you've all been waiting for, and whoa, we got a big shakeup on the board. This is, I think, a couple of these still being updated, but even still, I think Team Stone Mountain may be doing a bit better than we expected. They've got a decent amount of eliminations as well, but some challenge points across the board. Take a look at some of the best teams today. Team Raging Cactus, of course, they've picked up a ton of rank points as well, but I think some of these scores still being updated as well. So stay with us. We'll keep them updated and keep you updated. But here are some of the top teams today as we see a couple of them getting updated. I'm excited to see who ends up on top. We will see those elimination numbers get logged for Slayer's team. I think they're just double checking a couple of the numbers behind the scenes. So yeah, Bobby, a good day. Some top teams still on the board. Lucky Shamu, again, one thing we didn't shout out about that team, by the way, is sometimes I forget. Lucky Shamu sometimes gets labeled as a PC creator. That dude makes mobile content as well. He is all over the board, a YouTube aficionado, if you will. So it makes sense that he's earning a few points on the day here through 3 maps.
Yeah, I've seen him at a couple of the different mobile events that we've had over the past couple of years, so no surprise to see him up toward the top. I would imagine Team Raging Cactus will probably be a little bit higher when we see the new standings as well. I think there may be one map win that got left out for them as well, so it's going to be competitive through and through. We've seen teams be able to stack points from a number of different ways, so once again, going back to Team Aerith, not a lot of kills, not a lot of placement points, still 17 challenge points can be absolutely huge for the way that things play out toward the end of this one. And going back to what we saw in the last one, it seemed like the team that took down the Butcher didn't remember to log it in time, so those 5 points can come back to bite you in the grand scheme of things. I would imagine not going to be a massive gap between 1 and 8 at the end of this one.
Yeah, no, that's actually such a good shout. These challenge points are everything. And I want to take a look while we're doing some more map behind the scenes. I want to take a look at map 4's challenges because we are headed back to Blackout and we've got some new challenges on the board. Now, these looked a little bit different from the others. This time around, only 13 points you can earn in this map. A sniper knock in the first 4 minutes, that's going to be a toughie, and only 15 teams could log it. I doubt even maybe 5 or 6 will is probably my guess on how many teams can pick that up. Upgrade Me, if you have all living team members upgrade their class at Upgrade Terminal. You can also do that, I believe, in the buy stations. That's 3 points if you're able to do that in the first 5 minutes. And then Heli Heroes, you can have all of your living team members in a helicopter while it's flying. Again, I don't think we've got 15 helicopters on the map. 4 points if you can grab one of those. Whoever's able to earn it, grab that helicopter, get your points. Again, you were just talking about these challenge points are everything.
Yeah, and I feel like the Heli Heroes could create kind of a series of mini hot drops to where we have a lot of people obviously going different directions, but probably multiple teams going for those helicopters. Obviously, 4 points, maybe in the grand scheme of things, isn't a ton, and probably a lot of teams going to opt not to take the risk, but I think if you can manage to find one that is free, and I think probably a lot of teams are going to scout the drop and keep an eye out, maybe redirect if they see a lot of teams going for one. It'll be interesting to see the way that plays out, as obviously we do have our teams that are going to know when things are starting to get desperate. It's map number 4. If you're sitting in 20th through 25th place, now's the time to start taking risks.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good shot, a really good read. Like, I think because of the amount of helicopters on the map, you're going to see some of these mini hot traps. But a classic Battle Royale strategy, you hear it from a lot of really good players out there in a modicum of different Battle Royales. You see it here in COD Mobile Battle Royale as well. When you drop in, you could pause a little bit while you're on your wingsuit, look around and see, hey, is there a bunch of other people flying in with us? Maybe we think twice about this one. Maybe we back off and say, hey, never mind. Let's swing over to a different drop. And again, without a hot drop, you don't have to land and then start running. You can just peel off in your wingsuit and say, nope, not worth it. Can't risk dying early, because that's one of the things that we talked about at the top of the show, Bobby. We are 3 games done and dusted. We've got 2 more to go. You don't have any more runway. You better be out in the air. Like, you better have already taken off on this leaderboard. If you're down near the bottom, you got to go for broke. You need a 45 some odd point game that Slayer's team was able to pull off in the last one. Like, you need an absolute banger if you want to earn some cash today, because again, only top 8 teams getting paid out.
Yeah, and that confidence can snowball really quickly. It only takes one good team fight to start to get the feel for the way that the lobby's going and turn that into an overall solid game, which could potentially change your team's direction in the tournament. At every level of competition, whether it's COD Mobile BR or COD Mobile multiplayer, The momentum is everything. So we'll see what they can do as we get ready to head back into Blackout. If you guys haven't already, you can scan the code down below to download Call of Duty Mobile. And once again, if you're watching in-game, earn those free rewards. You can also hop in and play a couple games by scanning the code and grab some free secret caches. Lots of rewards to unlock today.
My goat, Bobby, great shout. As a reminder, you do have to scan the code, then play the 5 games. I saw a couple people in chat asking about it. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, then play those 5 games. You can't just drop in and play 5 games to get your rewards, but you can just hop into the game and watch, like Bobby said. But let's hop into the game ourselves and move into map number 4. We are back on Blackout. We're going to see some teams drop out nice and early in this one. Take a look at where some of these teams are landing, and ooh, you were right, Bobby. Look how quickly people are dropping on the 2 helicopter spawns right at the beginning of the plane. And I think a couple of those teams may be thinking better of it.
Yeah, I was expecting more, and it looks like one of those probably going to be uncontested, or at least lightly contested. One all the way up at Estates might be a free opportunity, or maybe too many teams thinking that it's going to be a free opportunity and turning into chaos. As you can see, one player already taken down, or not taken down, but Swag low on plates right now, definitely needs to find some, and he kind of watches the player run out in front of him and beam in the face.
I did see Team Cisco was one of the teams that was able to log the Heli Heroes, so they were one of the teams that hot chopped on the helicopter. Some nice free points. But speaking of some free points, Winsanity getting involved, picking up 1, 2, maybe 3 potential kills here. Half of a team down. That's Shifon on the other side, who got the wrong end of a fight against Winsanity. As his team pushes up, now a little bit in trouble, though. Need to trade out this fight. 2 go down from the side of Win. He's got a pretty decent weapon, but only 15 bullets that he can play with, and he's used about 6 of them there. Finds an LMG, gonna get into the mix, and unfortunately just can't quite ADS in time. Arc takes him down.
Rex still alive, but no tags in hand. That puts them in a rough spot. They've had a good performance so far in this one, but really need to bounce back. It seems like Jacob going for a swim. Says, don't mind me. I can't see you. You can't see me. Winsanity waiting for his tags to get retrieved, but it looks like he may opt to play the waiting game, or maybe an opportunity for him to gather enough money and buy them back. I'm not 100% sure if that's possible without retrieving tags, but definitely at the bare minimum going to look to pick up a gun and maybe pray that they make a wrap to a different direction.
Yeah, I think Rex saw a player and said, "Ooh, no, I'm out of here," and is gonna keep rolling. And again, we talked about this at the top of the show. Like, you've got to stay alive. That is really the only thing that matters. You can break down BR in 1,000 different stratagems, but one of them has to be stay alive. You've got to. But a quick look at the other side of the map, Raging Cactus potentially in a bit of trouble. Maybe chowed this helicopter over here at Hijack. I don't know.
Hard, but like,
maybe they lost the fight, and potentially the dog tags down in the water is maybe Farouk's team that won the fight, hijacked, and is able to loot up and potentially win this POI.
Yeah, I think
rush with me then
Raging Cactus is just trying to stay alive long enough for them to hit the rotation out right here. So they've got tags that they need to retrieve.
So what do you think we should do then?
Once again, we don't have eyes on him for the time being, but they don't seem to have info there either. So
wait a second, I'm gonna do the medic.
I think they're waiting for him to push out, and he's actually floating down in the water.
They're gonna heal up with the medic class, but you're right. I think I think he's up there.
To take the helicopter, but
I mean, I'd be afraid to zip across. Obviously, that is the freest kill of all time. But not when he's floating down in the water, just trying to stay alive. It'd be a big momentum shift. Again, we talked about it. Raging Cactus, one of the top teams today. If they were able to full wipe Raging Cactus, would be a massive boon to just about everybody on the leaderboard.
Let's go.
Helicopters.
Keep an eye on the feed. We do see Little B getting knocked and taken out. A couple more kills coming through. And once again, we're seeing a lot more early game kills come through. Is Swag taken down as well? teams getting more and more desperate and probably going to start to push in a lot more of these gunfights. We got Stone Mountain. We know he's high on the scoreboard. We don't know if he's in the #1 spot as of yet, but they're definitely looking to build on what they've been able to do so far.
Yes,
It's kind of sick.
Looks like they got all 4 players up and a lot of real estate to be able to loot up.
Let's look for the guy we killed. Remember? They might
Yeah, I heard them
for his,
talking briefly. It looks like they've maybe killed somebody already looking for their loot, but Stone was saying, oh yeah, I remember this. And then he was like, I don't remember this. And probably some changes. I know Stone, one of those players that played Blackout on, I think it was console originally a long time ago.
I don't know if
And I know a lot of our PC creators feeling a lot of nostalgia back on Blackout.
How do I drop that?
Swing over to Aerith, who we've been hoping could have a big breakout game here.
Just drag it.
Yeah, just drag it out your screen.
It looks like they did, by the way, Bobby, log. They've got a helicopter here, so they logged the Heli Heroes challenge, able to pick up a couple points with the challenges, which is nice.
Lucas, I don't know if
Slayers just got taken down.
Level 1.
Uh-oh.
On a vehicle explosion. I don't know if that was a full team wipe, but I would imagine anybody in the lobby that's got eyes on the scoreboard has to be happy about that one.
Yeah, the black.
We'll have to see whether or not that was everybody, but I just noticed that, and that could have huge repercussions for the rest of this event.
Back in the helicopter we go. A decent way to rotate, but the only problem with the helicopter is that you can get shot out of it pretty easily if you're not flying way up in the sky.
All right, I got a long range 30%.
¿Este está pintado o me parece? No está pintado.
I was seeing some conversation around favorite shotguns in BR, Bobby, and I'm thinking Jack 12 is what most people would say. What do you think about a shotgun in BR?
Jack 12 is a good shotgun if you have bad aim.
Okay, so that makes more sense because I was watching some of our creators stream and they were asking, hey, what should I use? And everybody was like, Jack 12, Jack 12, Jack 12.
Yeah, so Jack 12 is like the spam shotgun. It looks like Slayer and his squad are alive. Nothing to worry about there. Jack 12 is the shotgun that you can just spam out, and even if you miss 7 shots, still get a kill. The majority of pro players will go by 15 or HSO or sometimes KRM. By 15, definitely going to be the ground loot shotgun of choice as far as pro players and what is available, but the best one-tap shotguns in the game, definitely the HSO, the by 15, and the KRM. Although we have seen a decent number of people rocking HS2126 customs as well, which I was not expecting.
Yeah. Good shout. That makes a lot more sense. The creators were the ones asking, so all that is checking out. Some of our creators really talented, some a little bit newer to the COD Mobile BR and having fun playing. Looks like not having a lot of fun in this map, or at least not having a lot of success. Shifan's team down to 1. Yet again, I still tip my hat to these solos that are able to make it out of these quad encounters and stay alive and relocate and potentially pick up their teammates. Another solo last alive, and having to rotate without a vehicle is brutal.
A bit of an interesting smoke bomber throw. I feel like there's more risk of giving away your location, but it seems like he knows there's a team up ahead that he's going to have to contest with.
Yeah, the smoke bomber is a disrupt class, so I think the passive is that if you do activate your skill, you have some movement speed for a little while. I think he was just trying to get to zone.
No ven a mí, no ven a mí, no ven a mí. Bro, move.
Team on us if you guys can get to us.
Back on Team Noah. Big performance last game. Trying to build on it. No kills for him so far, but once again, seems like they have a pretty good idea of what they're working against. They're gonna link up and
he's saying someone should get on the
more than likely hit the rotation to zone right here, although I don't think they can actually fit the full squad.
Yeah, I'd be pretty curious actually to take a look at the map here and see what this rotation is going to look like. Well, he's going to show us a little bit, but we'll see if we can get our map view up. Here's a quick look at it. Yeah, I was about to say. All right, so we're pulling all the way to the south. Fracking tower is probably we're going to end up maybe out in the open between the two. We've got, look how many teams we have on the north side. This is going to be a massive fight on the edge of firing range, and it's going to come down to who's able to lock down this edge right here into our next POI just to the west of Rivertown. This hold is going to be everything. I think C2 is a team to watch getting here first. They're going to be able to hold a ton of people coming in. Could pick up like up to 5, 6, maybe even more kills if they're able to do it correctly. And I don't think anybody on this side of the map is going to be moving over until we see new zone. So it's all about C1. Pay attention to this team here. We'll see who's at the south side of firing range right now and can pick up some of these hold teams.
It is kind of insane that there's only, what, 1, 2 teams that are fully inside of zone right now. Every single one of those others is going to have to fight for a position, and we'll see what the vehicles are able to do for them to get to some of those unestablished spots. Obviously, lots of buildings still yet to be claimed, so it's not going to be a difficult thing to find a spot. It's just going to be finding the rotation in. That is the issue, especially as more and more players start to get stacked up. Once again, Slayer and company, all players up right now. He's already up to 4 kills once again. And going to continue to be a threat on the map. They're not even looking for cover. They're just looking for kills.
You have shield?
Yeah, they're way out here on the edge of zone. They went all the way down to the south side of fracking tower. Jump out, trying to get the advantage. And woo, okay. Getting a little aggressive. In trouble, helping out his teammate. Picks up 1. Where's the second? Doesn't look like a full team of 4. And they're able to pick up Rolex. 1 down, 1 deep in outside of the safe zone. A nice pickup here. Again, like you said, hunting edge of gas, hunting for kills. All they want are these eliminations. And again, a really smart strategy to rotate to the short side of the zone. Be able to play this south side. We saw the map. We know how many teams are on the north side. You pick up a couple teams on the south side, and you've got a really important part of this zone fully locked down by yourself.
They get info on the nade going through. It's actually Worry that gets the knock, and shots not connecting. Snowboard tough to hit. Slayer does not find a lot of value off of that one.
Go back to zone, guys. Go back.
They will be able to clean things up, though. Nothing to work with as far as vehicles to rotate, but for the time being, zone not ticking too hard. Lucky Shamu picking up a kill right there, or at least able to finish one off. Saw his team with a big performance, and once again looking a little more comfortable on the mobile device.
You can kill it. You can kill it.
Lucky, he's inside.
It's the last one. No, wait.
Aerith and her squad on the inside of the building. I think the teammates are like, nope, you don't need to fight it. Not worth it right here. Especially when you got 2 players that are about to be revived. No need to take the risk. He's got the misdirection class. He can wait that out. And at least one of them already back. It looks like Team Noah, or Team Noah Sunday, not too far away as well.
Yeah. There's a quick look, by the way. Our leaderboard is fully updated, and woo, wow, Stone Mountain's team is as strong as it was showing, just not the team at the top. By 1 point? Are you kidding me? Team Slayer in first at 100 total points. This is after game 3, not taking into account anything happening in the game 4. So a lot going on right now. 99 for Stone Mountain, 100 for Slayer. They're at the top, but the gap is razor thin. You were talking about how 5 points of logging that Butcher challenge could make a difference, and it makes a massive difference. That's $16,000 for first. And I think 5 points was the spread between first and third, which is an $8,000 spread.
Looking at the feed, I think Parker the Slayer may have just had a squad wipe. He got at least 2 players down right there. So haven't gotten to see his POV a ton so far in this one, but once again, somebody to keep your eye on.
Be careful with SMRS.
Got Stone Mountain, who's I did not expect him to have a big performance like this, let alone be within 2 points of the lead. So obviously he's been able to pick up some solid teammates, but I know he's got a good bit of experience on mobile as well, and more than likely playing a role in his ability to call things out. Got that battle royale experience and continuing to stay alive for those end games.
We saw Rolex die on screen, but it's Justice and Nasta, 2 teammates still alive, battling inside of this building. Not in zone, though, so they're trying to play this outside of zone, pick up these kills, and potentially rotate in. You can see a couple players off in the distance now swinging up onto the building. Great movement. Flying and frying, but trying to figure out now what do we do. This is the problem playing edge of zone, and maybe just getting caught edge of zone. Getting to new is so difficult.
Just
We got one player already flying back in, but now only. Oh no, not flying back in. Already taken down. One player remains. 3 tags to be picked up, and looks like he's not even going to bother. He's got a pretty solid spot to try to play for some positioning and see if maybe you can play for placement right there. And I think especially with it closing in on fracking tower, that's going to be one of your better chances to do it as a solo.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting end zone. There's going to be a lot of folks that can stay alive inside of fracking. It's just a big enough POI to support a lot of folks. But, okay, we're doing tricks out there. Noah Sunday trying to fly and fry. It looks like, I think a medic was laid down on the other side. It was able to soak up a decent amount of the damage he was throwing down range. Another player was on a, I want to say it was a snowboard doing flip. But they've got this hold pretty nicely. They don't have to move. They've got a nice visual cover here with this rock and this lip.
Yeah, I'm weak.
This is just a waiting game. You don't want to overextend like some of the other teams have on main. Playing this pretty well, nice and patient.
They're probably going to snowboard down the hill.
Yeah, they've got really good positioning right here. It looks like Zone's going to put it right next to them, and unfortunately, that is going to put that rock out of zone, but lots of alternative places for cover with those trees in the surrounding area. They get a defender thrown down as well. And they're chilling on high ground, but the tougher thing is going to be finding rotation. They're about as far as can be from fracking right here. Making that rotation down the hill, not going to be an easy task.
Let's go.
Still 40 players alive, but one by one, we're starting to see some of them drop the zone.
Yeah, it's about to get really chaotic here because I think there's several teams. If we can take a quick look at the map, I'd love to see how many teams have made it to fracking and are now going to have to pull out of the main condensed pieces of cover into fracking, kind of out in the open in these ancillary buildings. I think there's several teams besides just Jacob Gaming's team
one is
out here. We'll swap between a couple of them at the very least.
Didn't move yet.
Again, this is such a good play by Slayer. Reminder, he came down to the south side of fracking a while ago, wiped the edge, and has been playing the south side, the short side of the zone for the last 5 minutes or so. They're able to have all 4 alive inside of cover on edge of zone and able to pick one up in transition. That's his 7th.
No, stay there.
There's a reason this team is at the top. But here's a quick look at the map. I knew there's going to be a lot of teams here. It looks like I want to say 3 or 4 inside of fracking, but it's this left side that I am worried about. A lot of folks already down. Noah Sunday, Bella Fox, Farouk's teams. This side of the map is utter chaos. A lot of dog tags and a lot of teams still alive, but it is absolute chaos as they're trying to rotate into new. The teams that rotated early are going to get paid. It's the team on your screen, Slayer Squad, who is in a really good position to potentially win it all again here, Bobby.
I don't know if there's people, but
yeah, and once again, surprising that so many teams have waited this long, especially with the amount of different mobility tactics that you have. I think maybe teams a little more focused on farming those rotation kills, but definitely a lot more risky, especially when you could potentially set up inside zone and get just as many kills. It looks like Noah's going to be able to pick up another one. Even inside the vehicle, just hitting absolute beams. Only his 2nd kill of the match, but they've got all 4 players alive right now. That's most important, although they're going to just kind of stop in no man's land right here. Vehicle doesn't make for a great source of cover as it's going to be set to explode. Fortunately for them, it will stay intact for the time being, but not a great position right here, especially with teams starting to get set up inside of zone.
Yeah, this is that side of the zone I was talking about as utter chaos. They're from wiping teams left, right, and center on the outside of zone, but now continuing to pull closer and closer into the interior of these ancillary buildings of fracking. They got to move.
What do you call this?
They're able to do so thus far, but I mean, maybe if you move into these shipping containers. Here's a quick look at our free cam, and yeah, several teams, 1, 2, 3, 4 teams all in this area. This is the north side of the zone. Trying to play around these silos.
Is almost ready.
Just playing for placement. As a reminder, placement points on the board, so even if you're a solo, just trying to stay alive for a moment is huge. Nice find up top, able to crack one.
Yeah, because if he goes down there...
I don't know if we can get Parker the Slayer's POV, but I saw him just prone next to this building. I don't know... Okay, there he is. He's gonna get spotted out right there, and Dino takes him down. And just kind of hiding in the wreckage of an exploded motorcycle right there. And Dino's going to be able to spot out another and hits the transfer onto Codeine. Clean as can be in the ninja class, which we haven't seen come out a ton. Gonna allow him to get to cover early on. We've got Slayer once again slaying out, looking to make his way into double digits for the second game in a row.
You can see it again. I mean, 9 kills by himself, like you said. One of the things that's dominant from this team is just the ability to... Oh, no! Hyping him up. They lose 1. Still in a pretty good position. Take a look at this overhead view. We've got a solo with Rosalty on the right side, just playing for placement. Reminder, top 5 is going to be those high-level placement points. You're getting 10 points. All 5 of these teams getting those points. Now it's about playing for the win. And, of course, with player advantage, Slayer is gone, but his teammates alive. It's a full team almost with 3 players around this defender shield. Big opportunity to win. Right now, they need to stay patient. You can't get too antsy. You're in a really good spot in zone. You can play with this wall on your right. You want the teams to fight each other. The kills aren't quite as important as those extra 5 placement points to win this map.
Yeah, and Balerian's just got nowhere to go right now. You got a whole squad just waiting for you to overpeak right here.
Where do you put another
shield? The smoke bomber go down, so that'll buy him some time. And this may force them to push out, but once again, you've got so many defender shields you can throw down, especially when you get the upgraded chip terminal. They can sit here as long as they want to, and especially with them having zone advantage. I don't see any way that they don't get the win outside of a massive choke. They pick up that 1 kill. Now it's 3v1. Clinical as can be. They take down Valerian, and just like that, Team Slayer picks up a back-to-back of their own.
Wow, we've had 4 maps, but only 2 winners. Raging Cactus picks up map 1 and 2, and it's Team Slayer picking up map 3 and 4. Doesn't matter what the map looks like, what it's called, they're gonna get a victory on it. And again, it comes down to the game IQ. The rotations they've made to move to the south side of Fracking Tower, hoping or at least having a decent understanding that if it does pull here, we need a power position early. They get it, they play inside the buildings, and then as the zone creeps a little bit further to the ancillary buildings of Fracking Tower, they're still able to play the short side, and they know they've already cleared out everybody behind them, and so because of that, they're able to get the win. Of course, using their class abilities correctly and getting the nice gunfights, but you could tell they didn't get in a precarious fight in the end circle because they played it near flawlessly. Very, very well done. And Bobby, here's a quick look back on that map. Insanity picking up a couple early, which is nice to see because, again, this is one of those teams that was near the top of the leaderboard as well.
Yeah, I don't know how long their run in that game lasted, so there's a chance maybe we see them fall a little bit on the scoreboard, but there's no question Team Slayer still looking like the team to beat. Not only are they farming those kills, but like you talked about, just playing the zone so perfectly, and not that they're able to adapt their play style to fit the map. They're not necessarily taking that full send everybody, take every gunfight possible that we saw on Isolated. This time around, they sit back, they let the opposition come to them, knowing how much open ground is on the surrounding areas, and they once again go big to take the win. And it's not just Slayer picking up the kills either. We saw one of his teammates there with 7.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's the thing. Like, this team is really strong. They're working together really well, but it is Slayer playing IGL. You can hear the calls, and it's really, really good calls to play that zone. You can shoot straight, you can play the game well, you know your class well, but if you pick the right rotations, you set yourself up for success. If you can win gunfights without getting shot, that's the way to win this whole tournament. So likely going to see Slayer at the top of the leaderboard. Folks, we're going to take a very short break here in the booth. When we come back, we're going to have the last map of the day and probably a very interesting leaderboard to boot. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Last one, you're behind the road. Please together. We're not. Fight. Last one, the general. Pull together. Work for 9.
Welcome back to the $50,000 Call of Duty Mobile Mythic Mayhem, and we've got our match 4 scores. And again, this is just from map 4, and this is in order of placement, not necessarily scores. Look at that, though. Another 40-plus game here. Bobby from Team Slayer, 19 eliminations. They did pick up 7 challenge points, and of course, the 15 placement points for winning. 41 points is nobody's even close on this first page. Yeah, you might have made it to top 5, but did you have a lot of kills? Noah Sunday picking up a pretty decent game, but 41's insane.
Yeah, no question about it. They're just on a different level from everybody else. And we see, especially with a subpar, at least relative to what they have been doing so far, performance for Raging Cactus, that's got to put Slayer and his squad pretty convincingly in that #1 spot. Obviously, Stone Mountain and company performing well right there, but not as well as they needed to, and really nobody performed as well as they needed to be able to catch up to Slayer and his squad. So yeah, going down the leaderboard, Lucky Shamu and Rolex, both a solid game right there, but looking like it drops off pretty heavily after those first 14 spots.
Yeah, it was interesting to see some of our top teams continue to stay in the top, but this is one that, if correct, I think it is, because we saw how brutal of a start they had. Team Raging Cactus, a team that was up there inside the top 5. They win 2 maps, and then they drop a donut on main? No way. That's crazy. And you called it out perfectly, though, Bobby. You said there's probably going to be some micro hot drops here on some of these helicopters because of our challenges. And I think Team Raging Cactus went for one, and they utterly lost. And that one's going to hurt them desperately on the leaderboard. Let's take a look at the overall rankings and see where everybody's at. And Team Raging Cactus barely holding on to 5th place with Team Rolex right behind. Top 8. This page getting paid out, though. We were worried about Aerith. She's on the page right now. If she can maintain a spot, they're going to be walking away with at least a little bit of cash. But look at this gigantic lead here from Team Slayer. Nearly 20 points, 18-point lead over Team Stone Mountain going into the next map. And then there's a big drop-off from Stone Mountain down to Team Winsanity.
I'm just going to go ahead and say Team Aerith are challenge point merchants, because 46 of their 66 are from challenge points. But at the end of the day, points are points, and they have found a way into top 8. Honestly, one of the craziest things Slayer is the only COD Mobile creator that is inside the top 4 right now. Everybody else from a different game or a different platform. And we're seeing a lot of those COD Mobile creators struggling so far in this one. Obviously, Noah and company making their way up after a slow start. They've definitely climbed a good bit, and if they can maintain that momentum, should be able to crack their way into top 8. A lot of COD Mobile creators on the border of making it into one of those top spots. Obviously, eyes on Parker the Slayer. I mean, you've only got 6 points separating team number 9 and team number 13.
Yeah, I think it's a really good shout. A ton of folks still knocking at the door and potentially earning a bit of cash. Even a couple teams on this list, if they can really pop off in one good game, the last game of the day, there's a chance that they're making some cash today. As a reminder, $50,000 on the line. Yes, $16,000 for first, but 8th place still walking away with $1,000 for your team. That's $250 a piece. That's a great day in the office, if you ask me. So some of these teams drop a big pop-off game. Big opportunity to still make some cash. Let's take a look at our maps, though, and as a reminder of our winners, we've played 4, but only 2 different winners. Team Raging Cactus winning the first 2, and then Team Slayer winning the next 2. So who's going to win the last one? There can only be one victor, and who knows? Maybe it's a totally different team. Maybe it's Team Stone Mountain. They're able to snag the victory of the map and the overall competition. It's absolutely possible. Only time will tell, but we are headed back to Isolated, and we've done all the learning that we can, Bobby. There's no more chemistry building. This is putting everything that you've been working on into practice. The last map of the day. So you talked about Aerith being a challenge merchant. Let's take a look at what challenges she could potentially grab in this one. Last challenges of the day. Total of 17 points on the board that you can grab. This is the most of the day as well. These could be pretty huge. We do have a hot drop in this game. Isolated, it looks like all team members need to drop Isolated HQ this time around if you want those 8 points. I think it's going to be real hot this time around, Bobby, because everybody's fiending for points.
I'm curious what Isolated HQ is, because that's not a name spot on the map. That may be in reference to the floating platform. And if it is the floating platform, then it is going to be easily the craziest drop that we've seen. I don't know that you can guarantee a floating platform in any particular game.
Yeah.
But assuming that we do get one that has an opportunity for a lot of teams to gain points, especially given that you can fly off quickly, but it's a very condensed area. So if somebody gets a gun before you, you are in deep doo-doo.
Yeah, it is the platform is what I'm being told from production, which is what we thought it was. That'll be real interesting if we get that one on the board. You're totally right. I don't know what's going to happen. A lot of fun things behind the scenes. This map is going to be a blast. But I think we've got a little extra special something. Maybe a partnership? COD Mobile is pairing up with a very unique group of folks out there that maybe you've heard of. Let's take a quick look. That is right. Call of Duty Mobile Season 6 Gundams arrive. They launch next Wednesday, July 2nd at 5 p.m. Pacific time. You're not going to want to miss this. A really cool collaboration. We love all that COD Mobile's doing in the scene, and collaborating with Gundam is going to be a ton of fun. There's going to be Gundam-themed operators, rewards, and dedicated limited time mode. 4v4 mech-style combat in all-new Gundam Team Deathmatch mode. This is going to be a blast, so make sure you check it out. Again, it launches next Wednesday, July 2nd, and I think there's a big exclusive trailer dropping this Friday, June 27th. You're not going to want to miss as well. So operators, TDM, Bobby, this is going to be a blast whenever it drops here in only about a little over a week.
Yeah, this is honestly the most excited I've been for a new season in a long time. I think it's the first time we've ever had an entire season themed around a collaboration, and really COD Mobile just started ramping up collaborations with these other brands in the past year. So it's been really cool to see the amount of different content and opportunities that we've had to unlock things, and especially for free-to-play players that maybe don't have as much money to spend on the game. There's been tons of free skins that you can grind out for as well. So really looking forward to that one, and I am pumped to see the Battle Pass. Probably the most excited I've been specifically for a Battle Pass, because I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, I want to remind everybody at home, make sure you follow the official Call of Duty Mobile social channels to check out more about this amazing collaboration. And you can check out the blog at callofduty.com/blog to find out more information about everything going on in COD Mobile and this Gundam collaboration. It's going to be a ton of fun. Again, that trailer drops Friday, and then in a week's time is when Season 6 Gundams arrive. So check it out for sure, and check out that blog for a lot more info about what you can expect. 4v4 mech style combat, come on. That's sick. But anyways, great collaborations, a great tournament thus far. And Bobby, we've got one more game to play. I'm so pumped about it. Back to Isolated. And if we've got that platform to hot drop on, I think you're right. Talk about some Mythic Mayhem, my goodness. But as we swing over to Isolated yet again, I do want to remind everybody at home, this is your last chance to earn some rewards. You can just watch this last map that we're about to play in-game. Open up COD Mobile right now. Click this yellow symbol that you see on your screen, and you'll be able to pull up the stream while you're actually in that app. And if you do, you just watch for 15 minutes. This map will take a little bit longer than that. You'll earn some rewards. Pretty simple, right? Go check it out right now. Open up the game. If you don't have the game, go download it right now. COD Mobile is a ton of fun. Whether you're playing multiplayer or you're playing Battle Royale, it's a dang good time. And who knows, maybe there's more events like this in the future with open qualifiers. These players, just like you, watching a show, watching a stream, paying attention to socials, and then now have a chance to play on said stream. But $50,000 on the line and one map to go, Bobby. It is about that time, the last map of the day, and I am so excited to see potentially this hot drop, or at the very least where these teams end up landing.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the map in a second right here. We got POV of Team Noah Sunday, who have gradually climbed their way up, and there it is, smack dab in between Bus Station and Sakura. We've got the platform, aka Isolated HQ. I'm expecting anybody that's below 15th in the standings instantly sending it there and at least trying to hop on and instantly hop off for those free points. We'll see how many teams are going to commit to it right here, as it looks like probably 75% of the map is on the way.
Hey, 8 points could win or lose you $1,000+, so why not? This is going to be utter chaos as expected. And oh my gosh, goodness. Again, this is what we thought, though. This is what Raging Cactus did. You land and then you leave. You don't have to stay if you don't want to. You don't have to land.
Fox missed it.
That means you don't. I don't think you can log the points. All 4 of your members on your team have to land on it. I think you're right. I think Bella totally whiffed the platform, and I don't think they're going to get the points for it. But you can tell 75% of the lobby landed here, and I think 75% of the people that landed there left immediately.
Yeah, it looks like she's going to hop up to make sure that they get credit for it, but not going to bother to pick up COD Ninja's tags, at least not yet. Probably the right decision. Would certainly be a substantial risk, and one other player knocked pretty close by. Could potentially get that res. And likely discussing what the best point of approach is right here as players hop on down, and it is just pure carnage right here. 17 players already dead.
No, Bill, go for my dog tag. Let him get that one. Go to the dog tag, the platform.
Okay.
Yeah, get the dog tag in a safe spot. Scan it. Go. Go.
Nearly done for.
Okay, scan it right away.
Well, we got some good comms from the team trying to lay some orders down about dividing and conquering, potentially picking up some of these dog tags.
No, don't matter. Just scan. We need those points. Scan.
And it looks like she's pretty much uncontested up here, so she hops up. It's the revive and should be able to get some loot as well. I don't know how much is going to remain, and maybe a little too confident in how open the platform was. Probably could have hopped down before going for the scan. Maybe a bit of a misplay as the I think that was likely just because of her teammate urging her to scan instantly. Definitely could have played that a little bit safer.
We got...
Yeah, that is a brutal one. I think they were trying to get one of the qualified players to scan the other dog tag that maybe hadn't gotten up there yet so they could log the points potentially. I'd love to take a quick look at the map view and see where everybody scattered to after landing on the platform and see what they were able to do, because I think just about everybody besides apparently Bella Fox's team scattered to the winds. And so we'll try to get that up as soon as we can to see where everybody's at. It looks like Stone Mountain, though. Again, we got to remember the race right now. You got to be top 8 to make money today. We've got a pretty big gap between first and second. This is your second place team currently, and a decent gap between second and third. But third all the way down to 8th, pretty close. 8th all the way down to like 14th, very close, like a 6-point spread. So there's a lot of races right now for any bit of cash, and this leaderboard could totally be turned on its head for the most part at the end of this game.
Little B and his squad have certainly surprised a lot of people so far in this one. All staying together, and once again, I think that the biggest factor in the majority of this has been team chemistry. You got one player like Slayer who's maybe capable of carrying an entire squad, but for a lot of these guys, it's just about the way that they play together. As I say that, Little B completely splits from his squad, but looking relatively uncontested over at Sakura, and looking like they will be able to continue to loot up as they look to maybe make a play to buy a loadout or some other upgrades at one of these buy stations.
Yeah, as a reminder too, buy stations, a new value add to the game. Fire sales also included, which is anytime you see a fire sale active, that's gonna be a 30% discount on that buy station. So you can do a little bit of the math, but I got a bit for you. A revival coin, usually 15,000. Now 10,500. Self-revive kit, usually 6,000, now 4,200, and so on and so forth. So 30% actually pretty significant when you think about it, especially in the early game. But it looks like Team Jacob Gaming is trying to figure out how they're going to address this one. As a reminder, one of the challenges was to kill somebody while you were in a vehicle, while it was driving and you're in the passenger seat. And I wonder if maybe they've already logged that one. It looks like they were, as drive-by is about to expire. And I want to say 3 teams have been able to log it already.
Bella Fox trying to get away right here as Cod Ninja finds one, but she's going to get taken down again. Rough map, but you're alive, and that's all that matters. It looks like Cod Ninja is just going to work on these squads, and now the last hope for them is they look to stay alive in this one. Obviously, a dominant map one, but that was largely at the hands of Cod Ninja clutching up solo. He's going to have to do the same here, and it looks like he's going to be able to get at least one tag.
Ooh, but Dino was able to pick up Cod Ninja. That might be... I think he was able to maybe... It looked like a wipe, but I don't think we got the UI up there. He might have gotten a scan off. Might not be a full squad wipe. We'll see. We'll see if we can check back in a little bit. But 73 players on the map currently, and it looks like Dino's already got 4 kills. So a great start here for Jacob Gaming.
Yep. And they were able to get scans on both of those players, so they're chilling for the time being. We do have 73 players alive, so despite the crazy start that we had with that platform hot drop, hasn't resulted in a ton of carnage since. With that being the case, there's a lot of players in need of rotation right here, especially with how far that zone is pulling to the south. It looks like 2 teams still grouped up together up on that north side of the map as well. Wins in the middle of an engagement. Does get knocked, but trades are there. Once again, his team, one of those in the top spots in this one so far, with an opportunity to continue to climb even further.
Yeah, and again, wins right here in launch base on the south side on this side. So I'll be really curious to see where the zone ends up pulling. I'm actually thinking that we might go all the way down to a state or maybe over into military where there's basically nobody. Look how many teams are on the north side of the map having to all rotate down. I think the biggest and most difficult rotation is going to be getting through some of these teams that decide to hold launch base, decide to hold farm, maybe hold here at crash site. These are going to be big holds. And again, yet again, we say this every single time, the teams that get here early are going to get paid in kind.
All right. Yeah, there's a lot of wide open loadout drops in the middle of the zone as well, but it seems like we're at the point where everybody's so dead set on not taking any risks that they're just kind of allowing it to drop where it will, and we may see somebody end up capitalizing on it. No surprise to see that Team Slayer are one of the first to head toward those loadout drops, and I think that's a big reason why they've been able to be as dominant as they have, having that boost your accuracy, that boost your time to kill. on top of the fact that they're as confident as they are. And I think that confidence plays a role in their willingness to just full send it at a loadout drop and trust that they can win the gunfights on the way. So struggling to get one more player into the vehicle, but they get that. And now they kind of have their pickings as to where they want to go inside zone, or if they want to just scan the edges like we've seen them do so many times before.
There might be good.
Yeah, and as expected, it does. You can see a little bit of that preview. It has already shown us the new zone. It's going to be down around a state like we were talking about. So it is going to be that hold on launch base that's going to be a really big boon for the teams rotating in. And we'll see who's able to make it to new in time. But here's a quick look at a team that is electing to use the buy station. Let's see what they decide to pick up here. They've got a ton of cash to utilize.
Dame dinero, me falta. Ah, no, ya no se puede sacar. Medic. Nice.
Yeah, and spend a little extra time at the buy station. Let's go ahead and throw the medic down and fill up some people. You can keep buying what you need.
Raging Cactus, I believe all the captains got hooked up with as many mythics as they could handle, but maybe Raging Cactus forgot to set the default skin on his Krig to the mythics. So rocking with the default for the time being. Players starting to drop a little bit more quickly. His team's getting more and more desperate for those points. Earlier you get the kills, the better. And maybe also having that presence of mind where if you're pushing a full team, maybe don't wipe them all the way, taking down 3 players and give an opportunity to revive. I think every single elimination point is going to count at this stage in the competition. So we'll see if any of these teams look to get technical like that. Although if your team's Slayer leading by the amount that you are, you don't want to give any opportunity for teams to get more points. So I would assume they will continue to run through the squads the way they have.
Tank has been delivered.
And again, the zone's pulling down towards state. You're going to see Circus and kind of the south side of Pipeline in new. Everybody's got to rotate there. Rolex on the edge. Helicopter to rotate.
Lobby.
Bringing up kills here like Bobby was talking about. Really important. Nice pickup.
No toque, Rolex.
Reloading. The air.
Nice. Able to pick up Class Driver. That's nice for his class. Now he's got his medic upgraded. They're going to move on their merry way. A lot of value there in that kill. Nice pickup. Half the lobby's dead here, Bobby. Moving into this last map. You got to hope if you're one of those teams on the bubble that you're still in this.
Yeah. And with how many points you can get just from one good end zone, I don't think any of these teams are ever truly out of reach. I would imagine the ones that are still alive right now are, for the most part, the ones that are in contention in that top 16 that we've been looking at. So
you will revive automatically.
Still a lot on the line as far as
Vehicle coming, guys.
executing throughout the end of this one. Obviously, Stone Mountain, another team a lot of people have had eyes on, definitely shocked a lot of people making their way into top 2, and not a ton of kills on the board for him, but once again, chemistry has been there with his squad, and they have found a way to have some very solid end games and put themselves in really good position to get a good chunk of that 50K.
Yeah, you saw him open up that buy station and pick up the Class Driver. I believe, I want to say it was fire sale was on because it was about 3,500, I believe. So it would be on fire sale price. And then he also picked up the revival coin, which is usually 15,000.
Crack one.
And then 10,500 during fire sale. I couldn't tell, but it's been a lot of cash. Feeling good about his resources, and now just throwing bullets down range, picking up a nice pick on Rolex. I think getting knocked off screen from Camillo. This is Rolex team on the other side, and if any of these hits, I mean, this team is in deep trouble already, but...
And they may have gone so far that they're out of render distance right now, so it seems like they may have to reposition or kind of accept the loss. They see a helicopter falling out of the sky usually means somebody has flown very close by. I don't know if they're going to be able to identify that. We head over to Team Raging Cactus, who, that understandably so, are on the patrol for some kills to try to pick up some extra points. Desperately in need of anything that they can find. Very solidly in the lead after those first couple of games. Picking up wins has not necessarily panned out over the last couple, and unfortunately for them, not going to be able to find eyes onto the solo that looked like free pickings.
Let's go, boys. There's some parachute. Someone's going down.
a single player trying to rotate in. Not today. Looks like maybe Iceman Isaac getting cut down, trying to rotate either with or without his team. Maybe he was the only remaining player at his team. I'm not sure, but let's take a look at another team having a good time up on top of high ground. Little B, really just playing zone here. He just knows that the kills will come in game. And here's the opposite side of the coin. Winsanity playing edge of the zone, getting hyper aggressive. Reminder, Winsanity's team's in top 5. They have an opportunity to make a ton of cash today if they have a pretty good game. It means most of our top 5 teams are alive and still in this one.
That was about the perfect time to spectate Little B and his squad. They're just having a good old time. He's happy to be in contention for anything here in a Battle Royale tournament, so they'll see what they can do. Very comfortable with that position and looking to hold to the end. The rest of the team's getting active as we see the Smurfs come through in the feed once again. One shot in most scenarios, and now they're going to go ahead and hit the wrap toward the east side of zone. Seeing if there's any stragglers, and it seems like there's a lot of teams that are taking this approach, and as a result, because they're all patrolling, probably not as many teams rotating.
Yeah, I'd love to take a quick look at the map and see where our teams are at right now on this map. And it did pull to a state like we talked about. Pretty even spread across the board. You can see a team around Circus. We're playing this bridge. This team we're watching Stone Mountain's team is going to be right here in red, rotating near bridge. I don't think they know that there is a player in the helicopter behind them yet. If you're looking over here, ST is flying in behind them, maybe able to play a flank. It might just be a solo. We'll see if maybe they're stacked on top of each other. A full wrap here from this helicopter could make a difference if it is a full team. Now they can see them off in the distance. They're going to wrap all the way around, probably to short side. That's what I would do. But I like Stone Mountain's play here. They are on long side, but there is some cover ahead of them. If they can push this fight and get opening frag here and have player advantage, it's going to be a pretty important position in the zone to take over.
Yeah, they got shots from multiple directions right here, so it may be a couple of different teams that they're dealing with, but this ridge should provide sufficient cover for them to kind of dictate the pace of this one. They find the opening, snipe from Camilo, and Kuz finds another onto Winsanity. If they can take down Win's team, could have huge implications for the rest of the teams. Win taken down, I think still more players remaining, but the Smurfs goes through for Ding as well.
Yeah, it's a big moment for a lot of teams that have an opportunity to kind of take over, win on the leaderboard, but it's also Win's the team that's threatening this squad. Win's in the top 5, threatening Stone Mountain's team, who's in second place. That is a big takeaway on main stage and nearing the end of this game to be able to make sure Winsanity's team doesn't pick up a ton of points.
Looks like they're still on the hunt for one more squad right here, and once again, Stone kind of letting his teammates scout.
Does anyone have extra guns?
Playing the long-range positions with sniper in hand. Iceman Isaac and his team have opted to play inside zone and in a building right here. Very, very passive, but using the third-person peek to get as much information as they possibly can and hoping they can catch somebody off guard. That crouch is going to make sure that nobody gets visual cues as to their location as well, so playing this very well. One team very close by, and who else but Raging Cactus and company.
Well, we had to check in with the top of the leaderboard. Slayer leading the charge right now by a sizable margin, but he and Stone Mountain's team both still alive. That's Team 1 and Team 2 currently, not including this map. Not an absolute banger going on like we've seen the last couple. Only 3 kills for Slayer himself. But yet again, a really good position in zone. This is what they do best. They rotate early, take a power position in zone. Got a couple buildings on lockdown right now, kind of transferring back and forth between them, just looking for these rotations on the outside. There is a car, obviously, right around the corner, and he's basically saying, hey, take this out if they come in here at all. We need some kills, but we really need to make sure that we secure these placement points. If they are able to get 10 placement points, I don't know if anybody can catch them.
Yeah, no question about it. I don't think they're letting anybody contest for any of these buildings and kind of giving themselves as much breathing room as possible. They get info on one team down below as you can see that medic class sticking out through the wall. any bit of
people coming right
information
there,
is
guys,
good
right
at
there.
this
From outside
point. They
zone,
see
circus.
two players
Focus,
trying to
circus.
rotate here, and this should be free pickings, although
I'm
the
gonna nade shield.
defender class hits from a mile
I'm
away
nading
right
house.
there,
Shoot it,
keeps
shoot it,
him
shoot it.
alive. But unfortunately,
Bro, they're stealing
not
it.
going to stay alive for very
There's
long
one more,
as that
there's one
smoke
more.
bomber
Just stay
class
inside,
goes
stay
out.
inside.
And on the counter, Slayer is able to get that
There's one more in the other
information
house, no?
as they pick up the knocks.
Yeah, really clean play. Look at the zone pull, though. It's going to
Be careful
pull a
of the
little
nades,
bit
be
more
careful of the nades.
central. So they're not going to be able to hold this building
Let's go in. Go.
for new. They've got to clear this player out and then move on to next. You can see Slayer's team at the bottom of your screen in purple gonna have to move up the hill to zone, I believe, where on the other side Stone Mountain is swinging in close. This is a big moment. If Stone Mountain's team wipes both of these squads, it's gonna be Slayer versus Stone Mountain on the rotation, and those are our top two teams today. It could open up the leaderboard a little bit for somebody else to sneak in and make some cash. They're taking it nice and slow on the low ground. An interesting spot to be in. I wouldn't call it a good one, but at the very least they can stay alive for part of this transition and at least soak up some placement points.
They really have to pray that nobody peeks out from above because they're fishing a barrel, but you get a zip line that could be a gift from above. One player right there. Stone's not quite able to hunt him down, but that forces him down to the low ground. Now the opportunity for them to play this position. A lot of kind of peeking up rock cover right there that could provide a lot of value. Slayer and his squad able to rotate through right here. They still keep all four players up. And once again on the hunt, nobody has been able to slow them down. Parker, the Slayer, and his squad taken out. And Slayer just continues to beam left and right. Although he gets taken down, those are huge shots from the concussion DOQ.
Here's a look. Stone Mountain deep in zone right now, outside of the safe zone. Inside is Slayer's team technically, but he is down. This is going to be a tight fight. We're losing a lot on Stone Mountain's team. You can see a couple in the forward advance are in trouble. Slayer himself, it looks like he is full out of here, but his teammates alive. There's three of them still up.
Stay here. Yep.
And he's calling for them to hold this low ground position. There's no reason to move right now. This zone is no longer going to move. It's just going to shrink. And so if you play the low ground here, you can isolate yourself, play for these top placement points. There's only 13 players alive. You're probably there already. And they have another good opportunity to win their third game of the day out of 5 total games.
Wait.
And the fact that you've got a player that's as dominant as Slayer, and yet you can still have him taken out of the equation, and these three players have been able to handle it flawlessly, just shows the strength of this team. You do have a full squad that you've got to deal with. Iceman, Isaac, looking to lead the way right here, but they're playing very tight on the edge of zone. Don't seem super confident as they do it. Another team, Little B, looking to push out of zone, but they're just gonna kind of sit there and get knocked by zone. And there it is, Slayer squad picking up the knocks. Only a couple players remaining. It's pure chaos. Everybody dying to zone, but they've got that position on the inside, and it looks like they've got what it takes to take the third win to close out the event.
Unbelievable job. Team Slayer is the best team here. There's no question about it. A total of 5 matches, and they win 3 of them. Perfect execution, playing for safe zone, letting the zone do its work. And if you play inside of that long enough, throw a couple bullets down range, you're going to be netted those kills, and you're going to be able to stay alive the longest to get the win. It was a great call from Slayer. That's the thing. He wasn't in the game. He had died from those great sniper shots from distance with the concussive rounds. But then he was just IGLing, and it was maybe even a better spot for him because you saw his team. They were going to push up the hill into the building and play the high ground. I think they lose the game if they do that. Staying low like Slayer called them to do allowed them to skate around the backside, not get into fights that were going to be an issue, and be able to play zone a lot easier than their opponents. Perfect execution, another great win. They're going to be at the top of the leaderboard. Only time will tell. The big question is who else is up there with them. Top 8 getting paid out, folks. And Iceman Isaac, they did make it to top 5. Let's take a quick look back on that one. It was utter chaos to start here, Bobby. We landed on the platform. Some of the folks ran away very quickly. Some folks got punished for staying. But overall, a great map regardless.
Nice.
Yeah, no question. We saw big plays out of a lot of different teams, and once again, I think the pressure forcing people to really show what they've got right there. But man, oh man, the experience out of Slayer's squad was just on a different level from what we saw from any other team. And once again, great performance out of them to take him out of the equation, but great call outs from him, great decision making, and doing his job as the IGL. They played around their abilities to perfection. AK-117 hitting those beams, and they
Nice.
there were just so many teams that it seemed like were content to sit outside of zone and pray that everybody else was going to take the gunfights on the inside, and it really did benefit those that were confident.
Yeah, and it was Iceman Isaac's team that did get second place. So it you know, a little bit contrarian of a play style. You got to play for placement points. You're picking up 10. They played a lot slower. They played the zone really well as well. Remember, they got to the middle of the zone in a state very early. They've been hanging out in a building for a while. They said, let the kills come to us in the end game. It looked like they were able to pick up a couple, but then of course they end up dying for the final push there from Slayer's team. So they're going to be netted a decent amount of points for that play. I think it was a smart call. The question is, was it enough to get them in the money? They were outside of the money, but it wasn't by a gigantic margin. I think they were in the middle of the pack, maybe a little bit higher than middle of the pack, but not quite in the money. So maybe we could see Iceman Isaac walking away with a little bit of cash. I think there's big question marks here, Bobby, around, hey, did we see Era's team put up enough points to maintain an 8th or higher position? Where's Noah Sunday? Were they able to pick up any points in that map? I think we only saw him for a little bit. We know who's at the top. Stone Mountain had a great game. Slayer had a great game, but everybody else is a big question mark in my mind, and that's what gets really fun, as the mathematicians behind the scenes are doing the math. It is probably going to be razor thin margins for thousands of dollars as we traverse through first all the way down to 8th place.
Yeah, I saw some people in chat talking about Noah being alive in final zone, so there's a possibility that he just kind of went under the radar in that one and had a big performance. I'm curious to see what those final points are going to end up looking like, but like you pointed out, Iceman Isaac, very solid all the way through and had a solid final performance. Stone Mountain, maybe not a dominant final map, but they stayed alive for a long time, and more than likely that'll pay dividends. But Team Iceman Isaac, 32 points. Very good game. Unfortunately, can't quite compare to the 47 out of Team Slayer.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, 3 wins and 3 40-plus point games from them. And look at the difference this time. Team Slayer was able to get all 17 challenge points. I think this is the first time or second time they were actually able to max out challenge points and get a win and have some of the most eliminations on the board. The only team to get more kills, by the way, in this map, Team Stone Mountain, who was in second place. There's a reason these two teams were at the top, and they are crushing it. It does look like Team Stone Mountain, though, missed out on a ton of points from the challenges, weren't able to net any of these off rip, which has got to be frustrating for them. But I think maybe was on purpose. I think they probably didn't go platform for the HQ because they were like, hey, we're in second with a decent margin. We probably don't catch first. Let's play defense. Let's play slow. Let's play our game. The points will come. And they were right. They pick up a lot of kills and likely protect their spot in second, or at the very least will be a top 5 team, no questions asked. Let's take a look at the second page, though, because we've got some surprises. My goodness, Team Rolex picks up a ton of points out of kind of nowhere. A 35-point game, getting 12th in this map. Might be the highest score we've seen on a second page of the match rankings here, Bobby. And it's because of 17 challenge points. And somehow they had 15 kills, even though they died in 12.
Yeah, definitely a huge map for them. I'm not really sure how close they were to contending. And another team that goes big on the challenge points is Team Zeke. Only 6 points outside of that, but they pull away with 23 right there. So opportunity for them to put a dent. And unfortunately for Team Parker the Slayer, they needed to have a big map to make their way into the top 8.
Yeah.
Not going to happen right there. Same for Team Aerith, who comes up short. 11, not the worst map, and definitely better than some of the players that were around them. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough to climb those leaderboards.
Yeah, I think that's a really good call. I think we'd likely see Aerith drop out of the top 8 just barely. And if I remember correctly, I think Rolex is one of those bubble teams, so I think it's very, very close. But folks, I'm getting word that we do have our champion, and I don't think it'll be a surprise. A big congratulations to our champion of the $50,000 Call of Duty Mobile Mythic Mayhem. It is Team Slayer, as expected. Hey, sometimes you win 3 out of 5 maps, you're gonna win it all. It doesn't always work out that way, but they put all of the pieces of the puzzle together perfectly. They crushed it, and they took all the points they could find on the board, from challenges to placement points, and of course, to eliminations. My goodness, here is our overall leaderboard, folks. Our top 8 getting paid. Look at the bottom. I'm excited for him. Team Iceman Isaacs sneak in there at the last second, get second place in the last match, and pick up 8th place overall, winning $1,000. So congrats to Iceman Isaac and everybody on this board. Look at Rolex jumping all the way up to 4th place here, Bobby. And of course, Winsanity, that dude always makes money in these tournaments, getting 3rd overall.
Yeah, and once again, it's the non-COD Mobile endemic creators that are really going big in this one. Even Raging Cactus, I don't think plays COD Mobile much anymore. He never played BR in the first place, so it's really Slayer kind of alone at the top representing COD Mobile. And obviously props to our open qualifier community members, as they are, no question, playing a big role in what these teams were able to do. Stone Mountain coming out and surprising a lot of people, as he's not even a mobile endemic creator and finishes in 2nd place. Not even doing it largely on the back of challenge points either. 68 elims, and unfortunately for Team Noah Sunday, they come up just short, right on the bubble right there, and I think I'll only miss it by maybe 4 or 5 points.
Yeah, a bummer for Noah, just barely missing out on a bit of cash. But here is the so close, not quite there page. You can see Noah Sunday, Little B, Cisco, Aerith, all very close to the overall leaderboard. And then, of course, we do have a bottom of the leaderboard. We do need to show them. We love them. We celebrate them. We thank them for being here. Unfortunately, not a great day in the office, but hopefully they still had a ton of fun. So good friends of mine on this list. Shout out to Repulse. 20th place overall, all good. Hey, look at their challenge points, though. They were grinding on the challenges. I can respect that big time. Here are all of our winners, though. These are the folks that won cash today. Of course, this cash is split between all 4 players, so big congratulations to Team Slayer, walking away with $4,000 a piece. And then all the way down, Stone Mountain's team winning 10 grand, Insanity 8,000, and then Iceman Isaac all the way down at the bottom for $1,000. Still $250 a piece. Still a great day in the office. And frankly, it all came on the back of that last game. So big congrats to them, playing smart, playing safe, and winning some cash.
Yeah. They executed to perfection right there, so that was a blast to watch through and through. I really wasn't sure what to expect heading into that one. Obviously, we kind of knew who the winner of the overall match was going to be, but after that, it was question marks across the board, and very fun to have some out of the ordinary winners, as these events in the past have been maybe a tad predictable, with Noah winning all of them, so him not even top 8. Probably catching a lot of people off guard.
Yeah, it was really fun, and I think the challenge points were a really fun kind of wild card because they weren't necessary. The team at the top did not have the most challenge points on the board, but they did have a decent amount of them. The team at the top did have the most eliminations, I believe, and they, of course, did have the most placement points because they won 3 out of 5 maps, okay? So obviously a dominant team, but across the board, if you look all the way down that top 8, everybody earned their points in different ways, which was really cool to see what they prioritize, how they prioritize them, and then how they were able to execute. Again, these teams didn't practice. It was just, hey, we've got our captain and then these 3 individuals that qualified for this competition. Really cool stuff. But folks, before we close things out today, we gotta talk to the winner. Are you kidding me? We gotta get in the mind of the expert here in Call of Duty Mobile, Slayer, Battle Royale aficionado, my GOAT. You dominated today. I need you to tell me how you're feeling. How did you do it? 3 wins? Come on, were you expecting that?
I mean, I'm feeling good now. I'm feeling the best possible. The teammates clutching 3 rounds, it was just insane. W teammates, they did like a really big job. We practiced yesterday, and yeah, they just listened to everything, and we just managed to win everything. The start was a bit slow, but the end was great. 3 wins in a row. There's nothing I can ask more than that.
Yeah, you guys did amazing. I was actually going to ask, do you feel like there was something that switched in between game 2 and game 3? Obviously, you guys weren't behind by a lot coming out of game number 2, but it wasn't anything nearly as dominant as what you guys saw in the last 3 games. What do you feel like the biggest difference was?
The biggest difference was one of my teammates, so Wordy, you guys saw he dropped also a really huge amount of kills. He told me to change class, so I went from Misdirection to Smoke Bomber, and that totally changed our gameplay. It allowed me to make more aggressive pushes, and yeah, then we just dominated everyone. And he actually made that call, so it's huge thanks to him.
Yeah, a great shout, and obviously you put it to good use. I mean, talk to me about the big game. Talk to me about the game where you picked up, I think it was 15 kills, if not a bit more than that. What was going right for you all? It was like perfect rotation after perfect rotation. Was there a certain call, or was it just that class change that made getting that amount of kills that possible?
We saw that we were a bit late, so we had Raging Cactus double win. We knew now was the moment, we needed to come back, and yeah, we just gave it all. We a little bit focused them, and after we wiped them, we knew, yeah, it's finished. We are winning this round, and we took the win like that.
All right. As far as the other teammates that you were playing with, are those people that you had played with before, or was it just kind of one day of practice and you guys felt like that was enough to really put you over top of the rest of the competition?
So when they announced the teams, we instantly made a group, and we just went to practice for 3 hours. So we practiced 3 hours, we checked every strat, we checked mainly like all the challenges. So you guys probably noticed we did a lot of challenge points, and that was our main goal, taking the easy 3 points and then trying to stay alive, get the kills at the end, and make good placements also. So we practiced yesterday for 3 hours, all the challenges, which allowed us today to get all the challenges points. And yeah, then they just listened. I don't know Eagle or Nor. They are both new players. They never played comp, but they're great teammates. They just listened every call. They followed, and they did their job. It was really good gameplay from them.
Yeah, it really was, and I was blown away. Obviously, I knew you were going to be really good. I knew your IGL calls were going to be great, but you're right. It was a whole team effort across the board. So big congratulations again. I guess I have to ask the question, what are you going to do with the cash? You guys just won a bunch of money, $16,000, $4,000 a piece. You got any idea what you're going to do with it? You can just say you're going to save it if you want. But what are you doing with the money?
Honestly, that's a good question, but right now I'm mainly looking to go to a new place. Usually I'm streaming on data, so my stream and my gameplay is not that good because my internet is a bit slow. So I'm mainly going to focus to go to a new place and rent something new. That's going to be my goal with the cash.
I love it. Well, Slayer, dude, you guys crushed it today. It was a whole team effort, and apparently practice makes perfect because you were nearly perfect on the day. 3 wins. I want you to shout yourself out. Tell people where they can find you, what platforms you stream on, and what they'll find you doing.
I'm streaming every day, 8 until 11 p.m. CT, on TikTok or on YouTube. You guys can find me there. Also on Instagram, just search Slayer, and you can find me on any social. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So yeah, join the live streams, and I hope to see you guys there.
Heck yeah, Slayer, big congrats yet again from us in the booth, man. You crushed it. I hope you have a great rest of the stream, great rest of the day, and big congratulations.
Thanks again, and yeah.
GG's.
Hope you all enjoyed the stream, everyone who was watching. GG's.
GG, see you, Slayer. Everybody say W Slayer in the chat. Man, absolutely crushed it. Great IGL calls, but he was totally right, Bobby. A full team effort. And I didn't know that they practiced. I don't think every team did that, and it definitely paid off because he was right. That was the thing we talked about at the top of the show is like, what playstyle you're going to go for? And he said, all of them. Let's go for challenge points. Let's go for kills. Let's go for placements. A really great effort from Slayer and his team.
Yeah, no question about it. And you can tell from the way that they were playing, they seem much more coordinated. And once again, it might seem like a big commitment to a lot of these creators, but to people that are just getting their start, $4,000 a piece is a lot of money. It's worth it to put in the hours, especially if you look at what the rate per hour that they're getting. You got 3 hours of practice, 3 hours of stream time, $4,000, not a bad day of work. So definitely would say it was a worthwhile 3 hours given the result that they saw.
Yeah, totally agree. Man, Bobby, it was a blast casting all of this with you. 5 games, they flew by, a ton of fun, and of course, really had 2 winners, which is wild, but overall a great day of competition. Any final words for the broadcast, man? I enjoyed it.
It was great casting with you. Looking forward to this season of COD Mobile. We got Gundams on the way, so should be one of the craziest seasons that we've had yet. Big shout out to COD Mobile for putting this together. Always love seeing competitive COD Mobile BR, and I know the community loves to see this type of thing as well. So hopefully we get more of this in the future, and it was good casting with you again. It's been a minute.
Yeah, cheers, man. Great to see you as well. But folks at home, this is the worst part of the broadcast where I gotta close things out. But before I do, I gotta remind you, go drop a follow with all that COD Mobile has to offer. They've got socials, they've got every single one you can think of, and they've got updates on those socials, whether it's the blog, maybe it's X, Instagram, everything about the Gundam collab that's coming that Bobby was talking about. 4v4 mechs, come on. It's team deathmatch. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You gotta check it out. Go drop a follow on all major socials for Call of Duty Mobile. They've got maybe more events like this in the future that maybe you could get involved in too. So you've got to tap into those socials so you are up to date on all things COD Mobile. But for me in the booth, I'm Gojin. I had a blast today. So thanks for tuning in and listening to Bobby and I yap all day today. But it's a quick reminder, we couldn't do it without you, the viewer. Thanks for tuning in. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next COD Mobile broadcast.
One shot.
Yep. Knocked one. Yep,
Nice.
it's 2 down. Nice.
2 down. Perfect.
Nice.
Nice. Let's go.
I killed him.
Want me to come?
Whiteboard.
Nice. Cool. Me mataron, pero no me maten. Mátalo. Mátalo. Ven.
Which one?
One shot in...
They're both very weak.
I'm smoking on left. Dead.
Right.
Tengo el chopper yo, mano. Bueno, me lo
Ven, déjame ir. Oh, vete.
Oh my god, he's freaking goated. He's weak. I can't see him though.
Nice. People coming close to me. I killed one.
Vehicle's dead.
Great play. Another one down. He's insane. He's cracked.
No, let's go.
Nice.
It's far, it's not.
Got the confirm. Got the confirm.
Nice.
From zone, I think. Nice, keep going. Medic. Nice finish. Rewind. You might win. Rewind. Bro, it's last one. Nice! Whoa! Bro!